Chapter 3854. Damn it! Damn it! Those who were still alive roared crazily. Their hearts were filled with unwillingness. Please spare us. Some people began to beg for mercy, but it was useless. These people were ruthless. Finally, these people were on the verge of despair. Yang Hao's eyes were also filled with killing intent. When it was finally his turn, his strength erupted and shot into the sky. He wanted to leave. You want to leave? Shiwu laughed sinisterly and swept out the flame divine whip in her hand. Yang Hao roared like a small sun and blasted away the flame divine whip. He wanted to leave. There was actually a hidden expert. Shiwu was too surprised. Previously, the 3 experts who resisted were defeated or killed by them. She did not expect there to be a hidden expert. The other party could actually break free from her flame divine whip. Great, this is a good opportunity. Yang Hao's eyes were filled with excitement. He knew that his unexpected burst of strength had finally torn apart the other party's defense. Next, he would leave this place. Ant, are you trying to escape? A golden crow claw slammed down from the sky and hit Yang Hao's body. Yang Hao's body shattered and fell to the ground, screaming miserably. Blood dyed the ground red. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. They originally thought that if someone escaped, they might be able to call for help. But now their hopes had been dashed. This golden crow race expert was really too strong. How dare you escape in front of me? The golden crow sneered. Qi Lin and Shiwu also walked up. They were furious. Someone dared to almost successfully escape from under their noses. This made them feel ashamed. Qi Lin pulled out his sword and slashed a few times. Yang Hao's body that had just healed split open again. Shiwu laughed sinisterly as the flame divine whip in her hand danced and lashed at Yang Hao. Yang Hao felt that he was about to die. Damn it! How dare you touch me? My senior brother will definitely not let you off. How dare you threaten us? The members of the Flying Fire Python clan laughed when they heard this. Then tell us, who is your senior brother? Their eyes were filled with disdain. How powerful could an ant senior brother be? He was just a slightly bigger ant. They could easily crush him to death with their hands. My senior brother is Lin Wudi. You'd better let us go quickly. Otherwise, if you dare to torture us again, you'll be dead. Yang Hao said with his teeth clenched. What? Lin Wudi? When these words came out, the surrounding people, the thousands of saints who were captured had hope. This person was actually from Peerless City. That was great. They might have a chance to live. The people of the Flying Fire Python clan were stunned. Soon they frowned. Lin Wudi was. Truth be told, when they heard that name, they were all shocked. That was because that person was truly too powerful. The expert from the Golden Crow race coldly snorted when he heard that. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Who did you say it was? Your senior brother. Lin Wudi. He walked over with a murderous aura around him. Yang Hao didn't say anything else. He just stared at the other party with a pair of angry eyes. Shiwu said, Young master, you didn't hear wrong. It's Lin Wudi. He's Lin Wudi's junior brother. He's from Wuxia City. There's a path to heaven, but you don't take it. Hell has no door, but you barged in. Lin Wudi dared to kill my Golden Crow clan's people. Well, kill him sooner or later. As for you, I'll torture you to death. And all of you, you'll be buried with him. The Golden Crow clan's youth had a cruel look in his eyes. Not good. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. Why? We didn't provoke you. That's right. We have nothing to do with Lin Wudi. Who cares if you have anything to do with him? The Golden Crow clan's youth attacked and instantly smashed the bodies of the 2 people. Their internal organs flowed all over the ground. He laughed coldly. Do I need a reason to kill you? Yang Hao was also burned by a ball of flame, and let out a miserable cry. Don't worry. I won't let you die so easily. I'll torture you for a few hundred years, and let you know the fate of living a life worse than death. It's not just you. I'll tear anyone who has anything to do with Lin Wudi into pieces. He laughed sinisterly. Outside the 100,000 flaming mountains, a few people quickly threw out shields. Some people felt a huge energy fluctuation in front of them and instantly left. Some people also stopped. There were so many flaming mountains, and they were sealed by a formation. It seemed that there were treasures ahead. The figure was none other than Lin Xian. He had rushed all the way and arrived near the 100,000 flaming mountains. After seeing the formation, he activated his heavenly secret divine eye and looked inside. In the next moment he was stunned. Then anger burned in his eyes and the divine fire on his body jumped. With a roar he rushed over. There were some people near the flaming mountains. They also felt that there might be treasures in the formation. They were originally planning to see if they could break the formation, or sneak in quietly. But suddenly, the heavens and earth shook. The 100,000 flaming mountains seemed to erupt at the same time. What happened? These people raised their heads, panic written all over their faces. In the next moment, they screamed, because they realized that the formation that they thought would be difficult to break was actually broken. Like a shooting star, a human figure rushed inside at high speed. How strong was that person to break such a terrifying formation with one punch? The surrounding people were all stunned. Let's go and take a look. They followed him stealthily. Inside the 100,000 flaming mountains, the flying fire python clan began to torture those people. Yang Hao was even burned by the flames. However, at that moment, their bodies swayed and they almost fell to the ground. What's going on? What happened? Qi Lin roared crazily. Oh no, the formation around us is broken. Go and see who dares to attack our formation. Do they want to die? Kill them and bring back their corpses. Shi Wu ordered. 2 experts of the flying fire python clan rushed over and rushed into the distance. However, not long after they took off, they screamed and flew back. Their corpses fell to the ground and were torn apart. Their souls were destroyed by a punch. They were dead. The others were also stunned. Even those who were being tortured were also stunned. What's going on? Is someone coming? These flying fire pythons are so strong. Who are they? They can kill with one punch. And it's a double punch. Who is it? Soon they saw a golden figure in the sky. He descended from the sky with great power. The light made it impossible for them to see clearly. You hurt my junior brother. You're courting death. The figure in the sky reached out a big golden hand and beat the 2 flying fire pythons next to him into a bloody mist. At the same time, he grabbed Yang Hao. Senior brother Lin. Yang Hao trembled with excitement. He was seriously injured, but he didn't die because these people wanted to torture him for hundreds of years. Otherwise, he would have been killed long ago. As he spoke, a large amount of blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth. Chapter 38:55. Lin Xian's face was extremely cold. Don't speak. He struck out the 5 elemental law. The law of wood quickly circulated and brought about a strong vitality. It surrounded Yang Hao's body. At the same time, he took out a bottle of elixir from his storage ring and fed it to Yang Hao. Yang Hao's broken body began to heal. His pale face also regained its rosy color. Soon, his injuries were healed by 70 to 80%. Senior brother Lin. Yang Hao was so excited that he was about to cry. The others were also dumbfounded. This person was too strong. He actually healed a seriously injured and dying person in an instant. Moreover, Yang Hao called him senior brother. Senior brother Lin? Could it be Lin Wudi? Everyone was dumbfounded. It's really you. The flying fire python clan members were scared out of their wits. They quickly retreated as if they were facing a great enemy. Even Qi Lin and Shi Wu had solemn expressions on their faces. This was the legendary Great Demon King. The young man from the Golden Crow clan walked out with a cold light in his eyes. Lin Wudi, it's really you. Great, you actually came to die. Now kneel down and follow me back. He was too excited. He was already very excited to find a peerless city disciple. He didn't expect to attract Lin Wudi. If he could capture Lin Wudi, it would be a great merit. Which side are you on? Lin Xian stared at the man from the Golden Crow clan and emitted a cold light. As expected, the Golden Crow clan was behind this. Shi Wu walked out with a smile. So it's young Master Lin. There's some misunderstanding. Young Master Lin, please listen to my explanation. Who do you think you are to talk to me? Get lost. Lin Xian snorted and ignored her. Previously, he saw everything with his heavenly secret divine eyes outside the blazing mountain. His junior brother was tortured by the flying fire python clan. How could it be a misunderstanding? Junior brother, What do you think is going on? Lin Xian looked at Yang Hao. Yang Hao told Lin Xian about what had happened. After Lin Xian heard it, his face turned completely cold. They were really taking advantage of their power to bully others. They were actually using the lives of these saints as an experiment to find a way out. Ruthless and shameless indeed. Young master, what should we do? Shi Wu and the others could only look at the youth from the Golden Crow clan. The youth from the Golden Crow race sneered. What's there to be afraid of? No matter how strong Lin Wudi is, can he defeat my crown prince? Our crown prince has arrived on planet Tianming. As long as he encountered this Lin Wudi, he would be able to tear him to pieces. A person who was about to die had nothing to be afraid of. Your crown prince? That means you're not the crown prince. You're just a servant. A mere slave dares to be impudent in front of me? Lin Xian's roar shook the 9 heavens. The people of the flying fire python trembled and almost knelt down. Even the Golden Crow was taken aback by the sudden change. Soon, he was so angry that his whole body started to tremble. Damn it, you dare call me a servant? He was really mad. To be honest, he was indeed a subordinate of the 7th Crown Prince. But so what? His status was much higher than some of the geniuses of the Golden Crow race. Because he was a subordinate of the Crown Prince. Who would dare to call him a servant? But now there was someone who didn't know what was good for him and dared to call him a servant. What are you waiting for? Go kill him for me. The youth waved his hand. Qi Lin and Shi Wu looked at each other and clenched their teeth. They had no choice. Lin Wudi would definitely find out that they had tortured Yang Hao. He would definitely not let them go. So they had to quickly hug the thighs of the Golden Crow race. Only then could they survive. Qi Lin and Shi Wu didn't move. The remaining people of the flying fire python race all rushed over. They also knew how strong Lin Xian was. So they didn't hold back. In an instant, all sorts of nomological mystical abilities blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they rushed towards Lin Xian. The thousands of people on the ground trembled. Although there were only a dozen of them, they were too strong. The thousands of sages who had suppressed them couldn't even raise their heads. Would Lin Wudi be able to withstand it? Lin Xian's body emitted light. He punched out, and like a sun, it instantly enveloped the 10 geniuses of the flying fire python race. There was a boom. Today there was an earth-shaking sound. Many cracks appeared on the 100,000 Fire Feast mountain. Heaven and earth were shattered and sunk. The sun exploded, and a rain of blood fell from the sky. Accompanying it were all kinds of bones and internal organs. Dead, they were all dead. Everyone went crazy. They couldn't believe what they saw. The dozen or so flying fire python race experts could wipe out a bunch of them. But now, they couldn't even block a punch. What kind of power was this? You're courting death. Qi Lin was furious. He had brought all the elites this time. They were all dead in an instant. How was he going to explain it when he returned? With a clang, the flame sword on his back flew out and was held in his hand. Go to hell. The sword slashed over. Senior brother Lin, be careful. That's a terrifying Dharma treasure. Yang Hao exclaimed at the side. The others also became nervous. Indeed, a powerful expert had been cut in half by a single sword strike. One could imagine how powerful Qi Lin was. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a piercing light burst out from his eyes. He reached out a big golden hand, and directly grabbed the flying sword. Then he grabbed it. There was a puff. One of Qi Lin's arms was forcefully pulled off, and blood spurted out. Qi Lin retreated in horror. Kill him. Although his arm was broken, he could still control the sacred artifact. The flame sword burst out an unparalleled light and spun wildly. However, Lin Xian grabbed it tightly. How dare an ant compete with the bright moon? Lin Xian roared, and the power in his body erupted. He also grabbed the hidden sword with his other hand. Then he roared at the sky. Bang! 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 Cracks appeared on the flame sword, and then there were more and more cracks. With a bang, it split into 2 halves from the middle. How was that possible? That sacred artifact was broken. These people were crazy. That was a sacred artifact. How could this guy do that? Puff. Qi Lin also fell to the ground and vomited blood. This scene almost made him faint from fright. Shi Wu also retreated in horror. She looked at the young man from the Golden Crow tribe. "Young master, please take him down." His strength was about the same as Qi Lin's. Qi Lin was easily defeated. She was no match for him at all. Now she could only rely on this powerhouse from the Golden Crow tribe. "Don't be afraid. Oh, kill him." The young man walked out with a biting cold murderous intent. With a furious roar, 2 large golden claws appeared on his palms, and he grabbed at Qi Lin from all directions. "Go to hell for me." His strength was above Qi Lin's, so he was confident that he could kill Qi Lin. This time, he had a treasure in his hand that was given to him by the 7th prince. Chapter 3856. That was a powerful weapon. With that thing to protect his life, he would have no worries. "You're just a servant. How dare you attack me? Let your master come." Lin Xian snorted coldly and attacked crazily. He slapped out a palm print that formed a 5 elements mountain, and blasted it out with monstrous laws. It collided with the opponent's Golden Crow claw. The two clashed 5 times in a row. The youth from the Golden Crow race screamed and retreated. His claws were shattered. His flesh was badly mangled, and his bones were exposed. "A servant is a servant. You don't have the right to fight with me. Kneel down obediently. Tell me where your master is. Oh, go and kill him now." Lin Xian's large hand slammed down once more. "You're courting death." The youth from the Golden Crow race roared crazily. How could the difference be so big? He couldn't believe it. The flames on his body spread, causing his claws to heal again. He attacked crazily. The aura on his body was extremely majestic. Every time he landed, it was like a divine mountain. However, after 3 moves, he was sent flying again with a terrified expression. He felt that he couldn't defeat his opponent at all. This was simply too unbelievable. Before this, he had never taken Lin Xian seriously. However, the cruelty of reality made him despair. Qi Lin and Qi Wu were also stunned. Their greatest reliance, the Golden Crow race powerhouse, couldn't fight back at all. They felt that they were about to collapse. The thousands of sages were dumbfounded. Was this the legendary Lin Wudi? He was too strong. Yang Hao clenched his fists in excitement. Bang! 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 Lin Xian continuously waved his hands, and hit the youth from the Golden Crow race, forcing him to retreat. Many of the youth's bones were broken and blood flowed out. Damn it! The youth had drawn the Golden Crow race and wanted to escape. However, he was slashed down by Lin Xian's sword and half of his wing was cut off. There was also a huge crack on his body, nearly cutting him in half at the waist. "How dare you kill me? My master won't let you off." The youth from the Golden Crow race screamed miserably. Lin Xian sneered. "Is your master the 7th prince? He won't let me off, but I won't let him off either. A mere servant has no right to be arrogant in front of me." Lin Xian sent out 2 more slaps, smashing his opponent's body into pieces. However, the other party did not die. Lin Xian summoned a 5 elements mountain to suppress the other party. Then, he turned to look at Snake Dance. Snake Dance was so frightened that her legs went soft, and she fell to the ground. "No, I beg you, don't kill me." Her face was filled with terror. Now, she no longer had her previous high and mighty attitude. "I won't kill you? Give me a reason not to kill you." Lin Xian sneered. These people had abused their power to bully others, and had even dared to torture his junior brother. How could he be merciful? Snake Dance bit her lips. Her eyes seemed as if they were about to drip with tears. She tore open her clothes a little. "I can serve young master. I can give myself to young master." Like a wildcat, she crawled over and came to Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian sneered and lifted her chin with one hand. You don't have the right to do that." Snake Dance's last hope disappeared. She could not believe that Lin Xian would not take a fancy to her. What kind of joke was this? She felt humiliated. One had to know that her beauty could make countless geniuses of the Flying Fire Python clan go crazy. Some of the geniuses of the Holy City were also jealous of her. But now, she had taken the initiative to give herself to him, but he did not even look at her. This huge blow almost made Snake Dance die from anger. It was time to send them on their way. A killing sword appeared in Lin Xian's hand. Snake Dance trembled in fear. On the other side, Qi Lin's face was also pale. "No, you can't kill us." No matter how they screamed, it was useless. Lin Xian's sword was about to fall. At this moment, Yang Hao, who was at the side, said, "Senior brother, wait. They said that there is a 20,000-year-old flame lotus in the 100,000 flaming mountains. They threatened us before because they wanted to obtain the flame lotus." "Oh, a 20,000-year-old flame lotus?" Lin Xian stopped the sword in his hand, and a fiery light bloomed in his eyes. This age was extremely attractive to him. Seeing that Lin Xian was interested, Snake Dance seemed to have found hope and crawled over again. "Young master, we know about the flame lotus. We'll help you find it. Please spare our lives." "Interesting." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "Good, then it depends on your performance." "Thank you, young master." Snake Dance stood up, and her eyes bloomed. On the other side, Qilin also heaved a sigh of relief. The two of them wanted to command the thousands of saints, but they were interrupted by Lin Xian. "I don't like to involve innocent people. You're not allowed to use them." As soon as he said this, the thousands of saints heaved a sigh of relief. But Snake Dance and Qilin's expressions changed. "Young master, without them leading the way, we won't be able to find a safe path." Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. "Why? Don't the two of you like to force others to lead the way? Today I'll let you two have a taste of that." When the two of them heard this, they were so frightened that they almost knelt on the ground. "Let the two of us lead the way." When they thought of the scene of those people being mercilessly burned to death, they felt their bodies turn cold. "Young master, this isn't good." Qilin revealed an expression that was uglier than crying. Snake Dance's face also paled. "Young master, spare our lives." "Emph. You don't have the qualifications to bargain with me. If you want to live, obediently lead the way. Otherwise, I'll immediately kill the two of you. I don't keep trash here." "Young master, please don't do anything." "Well, just lead the way." The two of them were scared out of their wits. They didn't suspect anything. Lin Wudi was so strong. He had killed many geniuses of the holy city. Some people that even they didn't dare to provoke had all died at his hands. Such a person was a fearless demon king. Therefore they chose to lead the way. That way they might still have a way out. Lin Xian moved the 5-element mountain away, and then kicked the Golden Crow youth. "Get up, don't play dead. Go and lead the way for me." "How dare you?" The Golden Crow youth was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Who was he? He was the 7th prince's subordinate. He usually flaunted his power in the river district. However, he was now reduced to a prisoner. He was unwilling to accept it. However, Lin Xian slapped him a few times and made him kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. "Do you believe that I won't roast you alive if you dare to resist again?" Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. He cut off one of the youth's wings with a slash of his sword. Then he used the 9-yang divine fire to test it. Soon the aroma of meat wafted out. The youth from the Golden Crow race was scared out of his wits. "Stop, I'll go and lead the way. Not only does this person want to kill me, but he also wants to eat me." He didn't dare to imagine what would happen if he went against Lin Xian. "Very well. Go and lead the way obediently," Lin Xian said as he continued to test the Golden Crow's wings. At the same time, she told Yang how to keep an eye on them. If they dared to slack off, just kill them. Chapter 3857. Yes, senior brother. Yang Hao was extremely excited, while the surrounding saints were extremely envious. This was a peerless powerhouse who didn't care about anything, especially the golden roasted wings in his hand, which made them drool. However, they didn't have a share of it. Lin Xian didn't use them, which was already a huge favor to them. Lin Xian didn't immediately release the seal. After all, a 20,000-year-old flame lotus was enough to cause a huge storm. Indeed, the Flying Fire Python clan didn't have the ability to swallow it. This time, their operation was to dig out the lotus to curry favor with the Golden Crow clan's 7th prince. However, they didn't expect Lin Xian to kill them halfway. Next, Qilin, Shiwu and Qingnian began to explore the path. Their fate was very miserable. After taking a few steps, they might ignite a wisp of flame. The terrifying flame burned them until they screamed crazily. Although they were powerful and were fire elemental powerhouses, they were still very miserable. Half of Qilin's body was burned, and he quickly retreated in fear. Shiwu's legs were also burned, and even the Golden Crow powerhouse was pierced by the flame. The three of them wanted to escape, but Yang Hao was at the side, supervising them seriously. When he saw someone escape, he directly lashed out with his whip. Damn it, the whip hit the three of them, making clanging sounds. To be honest, words couldn't cause too much harm to them, but it was tantamount to slapping their faces. One had to know that not long ago, Yang Hao was tortured to death by the three of them, but now he was alive and kicking and began to torture the three of them. The tables had turned too quickly. Of course, no one dared to resist, because there was still a great demon king there. Lin Xian enjoyed it very much. He directly used the law to conjure a throne. He sat on it, holding the golden roasted wings in one hand and a pot of spirit wine in the other. This wine was given to him by the Heavenly Dao Union. It was very good. Junior brother, take it. Lin Xian threw half of the golden roasted wings to Yang Hao. After Yang Hao received it, he was overjoyed. Thank you, senior brother. He took a big bite without hesitation, then almost jumped up in excitement. It was too delicious. He had never eaten such delicious meat in his life. The face of the Golden Crow youth who was scouting ahead was terrifyingly dark. He finally could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Damn it, this is going too far. As a result, Yang Hao's whip landed on his face. Behave yourself. Otherwise, you'll lose your other wing too. The Golden Crow youth had no choice but to behave. 10 days later, Lin Xian and the others arrived at the depths of the blazing mountain. The temperature of the flames here was extremely high. Even these saints of the fifth heaven were frightened. Lin Xian was also moved. As expected of the celestial mandate star, there were actually such terrifying flames in the depths of the 100,000 volcanoes. If he wasn't careful, he might even get injured. What made him even more shocked was that he smelled a fragrance. This was the fragrance of heaven and earth spirit medicine, and it was very fragrant. Thinking about it, it should be the legendary 20,000-year-old flame lotus. Thinking of this, his eyes lit up. One had to know that in the outside world, a 10,000-year-old flame lotus was already very popular, let alone a 20,000-year-old flame lotus. In front of them, Qi Lin, Qi Wu, and Qing Nian were in a very sorry state. They had been burned to the point of hovering between life and death. Their bodies were heavily injured and charred. However, when they smelled the fragrance, their injuries were rapidly recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Good stuff. Their eyes lit up. As expected of a legendary saint spirit medicine, it could even heal bones. After advancing for another 2 days, they finally stopped. There was a monstrous law waving in front of them. In the endless lava, a lotus flower bloomed. It was only the size of a palm. However, it attracted everyone's attention. Was there really one? Qi Wu and Qi Lin were both shocked. To be honest, they had only received information that there might be one inside, but they were not too sure. They did not expect it to really be there. The youth from the Golden Crow race was also very excited. He had originally come to seize the 20,000-year-old flame lotus and prepare to give it to the seventh prince. He did not expect to become a prisoner now. No, he had to think of a way to get it. Such a terrifying divine medicine. There must be a powerful demon beast guarding it. When Lin Wudi and the demon beast fight, I will fish in troubled waters. The youth from the Golden Crow race thought quickly in his heart. Yang Hao, who was beside him, was also excited. He looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood up. Sure enough, there was one. Junior brother, when the fight starts later, it would be better for you to find a safe place. Yang Hao nodded. The flames here were enough to threaten his life. Lin Xian took a step forward. He walked forward. He said, "The three of you go and see if there is a formation in front. Is there a beast? If there is, lure it out." Fuck. The three of them vomited blood. Was he really treating them as guinea pigs? Why? Not willing? Do you believe that I won't kill the three of you right now? Lin Xian slapped each of them. The three of them felt their blood boil. Their bodies split open. The three of them could only brace themselves and walk forward. Buzz. As soon as they got close to the flame lotus, the surrounding flames suddenly tumbled, forming a sea of fire that rushed towards the three of them. Not good, retreat quickly. The three of them were scared out of their wits. The temperature of the flames here was too terrifying. They did not dare to resist at all. There was indeed a beast. Lin Xian snorted. He gave the order to attack from afar. Shi Wu and the other two began to use their mystiques from afar. The terrifying mystique light surged forward and exploded. Endless flames spread, tearing the void apart. Near the flame lotus, under the sea of fire, there was a roar. Wah! A terrifying sound accompanied by a sky full of flames swept out in all directions. The Golden Crow race and Qing Nian retreated frantically. Did they come out? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He shouted and punched forward. All the flames were shattered. Then he saw a fiery red crow cawing in front of him. Its demonic eyes stared at Lin Xian and the others. Soon the fire crow stared at Lin Xian. It seemed that it had also sensed that Lin Xian was the most threatening. It turned into a stream of light and rushed over. Beast, you're courting death. Lin Xian snorted coldly and struck out with his palm, engaging in a fierce battle with his opponent. Great! The Golden Crow race and Qing Nian were ecstatic. They were worried that Lin Xian would use them as cannon fodder. They did not expect the fire crow to be so smart. It immediately locked onto the strongest person. Will senior brother be in danger? Yang Hao had already been ordered to retreat far away. At this moment he was also nervous when he saw the scene. This was because he also sensed that the fire crow in front of them was extremely terrifying. It was even stronger than the Golden Crow race youth. Chapter 38:58. As expected, Lin Xian had met his match. This fire crow had cultivated for thousands of years, and had really become a spirit. Its strength was shocking, especially when the other party had condensed a law weapon. This was no ordinary law weapon. It was truly terrifying. It was a furnace. The light it emitted formed countless fire crows that swept in all directions. Lin Xian drew his unparalleled sword and fought against it. The battle between the two was like two worlds colliding. This was a good opportunity. Seeing Lin Xian and the fire crow fighting, the Golden Crow expert was overjoyed. He could start to fish in troubled waters. On the other side, Shi Wu and Qi Lin were the same. However, their movements were not as fast as the Golden Crow youth. The Golden Crow youth transformed into his true form. The wings that had been cut off grew out again. He displayed his flight. He rushed towards the 20,000-year-old fire lotus with monstrous flames. Haha, this is mine. A pair of Golden Crow claws reached for the fire lotus. Wow. Wow. The fire crow who was fighting saw this scene and roared. It opened its mouth and spat out a flaming blade. The power was too terrifying. It directly split the Golden Crow youth in half. The young man from the Golden Crow tribe screamed miserably. His broken body quickly retreated. This attack had almost taken his life. He was so powerful that Yang Hao was shocked. Shi Wu and Qi Lin were also frightened. The two of them glanced at each other. Then their bodies quietly merged into the sea of flames. Then they quietly inquired. They did not dare to be as brazen as the Golden Crow youth. The two of them moved very slowly, and did not attract the attention of the fire crow above. Moreover, Lin Xian had already used his great ability, and was locked in a fierce battle with the fire crow. It seemed that the other party did not have much energy to pay attention to them. Finally, they arrived below the fire lotus. Looking at the fire lotus in front of them, Shi Wu and Qi Lin trembled with excitement. They wanted to laugh at the sky, but they held back. When they completely obtained the fire lotus, they would escape this place and consume it. At that time, their strength would increase greatly, and they would seek revenge on Lin Wudi. They swore that they would trample the other party beneath their feet. With such a beautiful wish, Snake Dance and Qi Lin grabbed the flame lotus and prepared to uproot it. But at this moment a change occurred. The flaming lotus rotated, and an extremely terrifying flame burst out, instantly enveloping the two of them. No! Shi Wu and Qi Lin screamed crazily. They wanted to escape. But in an instant, they were burned to ashes. Even their souls didn't have time to escape. Both his body and soul were destroyed. While the fire crow cawed twice with a hint of disdain in its eyes. Lin Xian snorted coldly as well. These two people thought that they could deceive everyone, but how could they escape from his eyes? He had been watching the two of them. If these two succeeded in seizing it, then he would send out a clone to pursue them. However, he felt that it would not be so easy to seize it. Sure enough, the two of them turned into ashes in an instant. It could only be said that the two of them were courting death. There was another person who was courting death, and that was the Golden Crow youth. The two halves of his body were healed again after using a great mystic technique. He even burned his bloodline and transformed into a stream of light that charged in. His eyes were red. He swore that he would definitely obtain the flame lotus. Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the great destruction spear flew out, transforming into a bolt of lightning that pierced through the void and pierced the Golden Crow youth's body. Furthermore, it nailed him in a sea of fire. Ah! The Golden Crow youth's body that had just healed was severely injured again. However, he did not die. Instead, his heart was pierced and nailed in the void. He wanted to escape, but no matter how he resisted, he could not escape. Demonic chi even appeared on the Great Destruction Spear, which directly turned into black chains that shrouded him and completely sealed him. The ants have been dealt with. You're next. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a biting cold light as he stared at the fire crow. The unparalleled sword in his hand suddenly shone brightly as dragon roars sounded. Boundless nomological laws accompanied the sword aura as it slashed down. The 100,000 mountains trembled as if they had all been split apart. Heaven and earth lost their luster, and the flames were about to be extinguished. Lin Xian began to use his killer move. He did not want to waste any more of his energy. Wah-wah. The fire crow roared crazily. He sensed the danger of the sword and did not dare to take it head-on. He pushed the furnace in front of him, and it suddenly enlarged as if it had turned into a huge mountain to meet the attack. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, the two collided more than 1,000 times. It was earth-shattering. 100,000 mountains collapsed. Then they quickly retreated along the safe path and were pushed outside. At this moment, the thousands of people outside were also dumbfounded. Was the great demon king fighting inside? Were they from the Golden Crow clan, or the Flying Fire Python clan? They did not know. However, they thought that they must have met someone powerful. Otherwise, the mountains would not have collapsed and the rocks would not have crumbled. After countless collisions, cracks had appeared on the large furnace. The fire crow roared crazily. His heart was bleeding. At the same time, he was shocked. How could the human in front of him be so terrifying? The other party was not old. Was he still not willing to stop? Then I can't let you live. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a piercing cold light. Endless light blades rushed out along with the dark green light waves. The fire crow had a splitting headache and almost fell from the sky. He endured the injury to his soul and suddenly opened his mouth to spit out a flaming light blade. It was this light blade that had easily cut open the Golden Crow youth's body. This light blade was definitely not weaker than a sacred artifact. This was the fire crow's killing move. It could not be used consecutively. Every time it was used, it had to be nurtured with the laws in his body and accumulated power. Only then could it be used. Now he finally activated the second light blade, and it instantly flew out. Such an unexpected attack should be able to kill the other party, right? Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand and used stellar transposition. The light blade turned into an arc and charged back at the fire crow. With a pft, it slashed the fire crow's body. A large number of feathers fell from the fire crow's body. His flesh split open, and his internal organs could be seen. His face was filled with horror. He turned around and fled. It was too strange. He could not defeat this human at all. If he continued to fight, he would definitely die. He fell into the sea of fire and disappeared. Lin Xian ignored him. Instead, he stared at the 20,000-year-old flame lotus and shot a few sword chi downwards, enveloping the flame lotus. He wanted to collect it. The lotus bloomed and suddenly erupted with an unparalleled flame aura. Lin Xian was shocked. He immediately took out the Great Sage Pagoda and went in. At the same time, he also brought the Great Spear of Destruction and the Golden Crow youth in. At the same time, he scanned with his soul and found that Yang Hao had already left. The entire depths of the flaming mountain were boiling. Chapter 3859. After a long time, the power of the flame slowly dissipated. Lin Xian tested it 3 more times before he heaved a sigh of relief. The violent energy within the flame lotus had almost been depleted. He could collect it now. The flame lotus still resisted, but it was no longer a threat to Lin Xian. It was not easy for you to survive for 20,000 years. I will not harm your foundation. I will only take your lotus. If you understand what I'm saying, just drop the lotus. Lin Xian said to the 20,000-year-old sacred herb. As expected, the lotus struggled for a while. In the end, the root swayed gently and the lotus flew out. The root was hidden in the sea of fire. It would probably be able to grow another flame lotus after tens of thousands of years. Ling Xian waved his hand and put away the lotus. Then he took a look into the depths. He looked deeper and did not continue investigating. Instead, he turned around and left. After coming out, Lin Xian found Yang Hao. He split the corpse of the Golden Crow clan youth in half and gave it to Yang Hao. Then he left with the other half. He did not kill the Golden Crow youth. Instead, he captured his soul. Tell me, where is the Crown Prince? Lin Xian asked. The soul of the Golden Crow youth floated in the air. Countless black chains bound him. At this moment, his soul was very weak. It was emitting waves of fear. It was too terrifying. His physical body had been destroyed by Lin Xian. Furthermore, he had almost been killed by Lin Xian. Humph! Do you want me to betray my master? Impossible. It seems that you do not know your place. I have to teach you a lesson. Lin Xian used the heavenly secret divine eyes and pulled the youth into the locking spring and autumn. He did not collect the soul directly, because he discovered that there was a seal in the youth's soul. It should be a seal to prevent others from capturing and searching the soul. He could not break the seal. Once he forcibly collected the soul, the youth's soul would be instantly burned to ashes. He would not be able to find anything. This should be the work of an elder of the Golden Crow clan. After all, he had been by the 7th Crown Prince's side for many years and knew many secrets. That was why he added this system. Therefore, Lin Xian was prepared to torture the other party so that he would obediently spill the beans. The young man from the Golden Crow race had long been scared out of his wits. At this moment, he hadn't even experienced 100 cycles of reincarnation in the locking spring and autumn before he was already screaming and begging for mercy. Lin Xian let him out and asked, "How is it? Are you willing to talk? I can let you reincarnate 10,000 times. Let's take it slow," I said. The Golden Crow youth gave an address. To be honest, he was afraid, but he did not intend to betray them completely. This was because he had unlimited confidence in their 7th prince. If Lin Xian dared to kill their crown prince, then he would definitely die. Now that the other party had taken the initiative to deliver himself to them, their crown prince could obtain a 20,000-year-old flame lotus for free. Why wouldn't he do it? Thus, after struggling for a while, he decided to say it. However, he sneered in his heart. "Let's see how you'll die this time." "Very well, you'd better not lie to me. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death." Lin Xian locked him up and began his preparations. It was impossible for the 7th prince to act alone. There should be many experts around him. Thus, he was prepared to give the Golden Crow race a big gift. Lin Xian's figure changed and he returned to the depths of the Flame Mountain again. He came to the place where the flames were continuously erupting. He felt that it was not safe and walked further in. When even he was frightened, he used the Great Sage Pagoda to store the surrounding flames. When he felt that it was about time, Lin Xian stopped and quickly left. This kind of flame was dangerous even for his physique. If he attacked them in groups, the Golden Crow race would not be able to withstand it. This way, he would not be afraid of being surrounded. However, this was not the end. Lin Xian naturally knew what the other party was planning. The Golden Crow 7th prince wanted this 20,000-year-old flame lotus. How could he give it to him? Therefore, even if the other party had an ambush, he had to eat the lotus first. Lin Xian's figure flashed and he returned to the black earth. Inside, the Golden Crow youth's soul was imprisoned. When he saw Lin Xian return, his body trembled. "Damn Demon King! What do you want? I've already told you everything I can. Don't be afraid. I won't kill you now. I'll let you see with your own eyes that I behead your crown prince. I'm only here to cultivate." Lin Xian sat down with a smile. Damn it. The Golden Crow's soul was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He knew that Lin Xian had a powerful pagoda. Why didn't he cultivate there? Why did he have to cultivate in front of him? Wasn't this deliberately provoking him? Lin Xian said. I filled the pagoda with endless flames and am preparing to deal with you. I can't comprehend in the Golden Crow race's place. Even I'm afraid of those flames. Damn it, how dare you use such despicable means? The Golden Crow's soul screamed in anger. He had a bad feeling. Lin Xian sneered. It's mainly to prevent you from attacking me. Don't worry, I'll definitely give you a big gift this time. Buzz. He waved his hand and took out the 20,000-year-old flame lotus. He placed it in his palm and absorbed it. In the end, he felt that it wasn't enough. He broke off the petals and put them in his mouth. You actually ate it. The Golden Crow's soul trembled in anger. According to his original plan, the other party would take the initiative to attack them. Their seventh crown prince would kill the other party and obtain the flame lotus. However, who would have thought that not only did the other party prepare an escape flame to burn them, but he also wanted to eat the flower. Lin Xian opened his eyes and glanced at the other party. He sneered. Nonsense. If I don't eat my things, do you think I'll leave them for you? After saying that, he refined them even more with all his might. The Golden Crow's soul fainted from anger. He felt that he had caused a huge disaster for his race and the Crown Prince. He was now extremely regretful. Why did he reveal the Crown Prince's whereabouts? He hoped that this guy wouldn't succeed. Otherwise, the disaster for the Golden Crow race would be unimaginable. However, he was destined to be disappointed. The flame lotus was too terrifying. It melted in his mouth. Boundless flames enveloped Lin Xian, tempering his laws and improving his physique. In just 7 days, Lin Xian opened his eyes. His laws were purer than before. More importantly, he felt that his divine body seemed to have improved. Furthermore, it was an obvious improvement. The Nine-Yang divine body had evolved. His physique and strength had risen to a level. After Lin Xian felt the changes in himself, he was wild with joy. This was the celestial fate star. It was too miraculous. No wonder countless people wanted to come in. A day here was equivalent to 100 years of bitter cultivation outside. For example, his divine body. Under normal circumstances, it would be very difficult to improve it without cultivating for a few hundred years. But now a lotus flower could save him a few hundred years of cultivation. Chapter 3860. Of course, this was not simple. If Lin Xian was weak, he would have been killed by the Golden Crow race, the flying flame python, or even the terrifying fire crow. If one wanted fortuitous encounters, one had to be strong enough. If I am lucky, I might be able to make consecutive breakthroughs on this heavenly fate planet. Lin Xian felt that this was an opportunity, a chance for him to improve rapidly. Alright, it is time to go and kill your Golden Crow Prince. Lin Xian stood up. As for the Golden Crow soul, it peed. Xiaochen could clearly feel that the other party was much stronger than before. Lin Xian steered the black earth and quickly flew to the location the other party mentioned. It was a huge lake filled with flames. There were many people sitting cross-legged and cultivating. Golden Crow illusions appeared on their bodies, bearing fangs and brandishing claws. It was abnormally terrifying. Suddenly, the four of them opened their eyes. Their gazes pierced through the sky as they looked into the distance. Soon they stood up. 3 beams of light descended from the sky and turned into 3 golden crows. The one leading them was Jin Kongjue. After he arrived, he asked, "Where is the 7th prince?" The crown prince left with his people. It seemed that he had received news of a golden palace and was preparing to investigate it. After they left, Jin Kongjue frowned. Originally, he wanted to give the crown prince good news. A bronze gate appeared. Really? That's great. When the crown prince returns, he can go to the bronze gate to search for treasures. These Golden Crow race experts were very happy. Jin Kongjue nodded and prepared to wait in this flaming lake for a while. They did not know that a black spirit ship was quickly rushing over. Its target was them. One day later, Lin Xian stood up and looked into the distance. Have they arrived? He steered the black earth and turned into a beam of light, instantly arriving above the flaming lake. At the same time, his voice rang out. Where is the Golden Crow 7th prince? Tell him to kneel and accept his death. The 7 experts from the Golden Crow tribe who were cultivating and waiting below suddenly opened their eyes. Their gazes pierced through the void like rainbows. Who is it? Who dares to insult their crown prince? Is he seeking death by provoking the Golden Crow race? Die for me. An expert opened his mouth and spat out a ball of flames that flew up like a sun. In an instant, the Black Earth ship was enveloped, and a terrifying radiance exploded, illuminating half the sky. They revealed sinister smiles. Ants that didn't know what was good for them. The few of them sat down cross-legged. However, they were soon stunned. That was because they realized that the sea of fire had spread, but the Black Spirit boat was completely fine. This was a powerful holy artifact. These people were shocked, and some of them frowned. One of them snorted coldly. "I'll go and kill the people inside." He was the Crown Prince's bodyguard. How could he allow others to provoke him like this? He arrived in the air, and a golden saber appeared in his hand. He slashed down from the air. With a clanging sound, the void was split in half. The Black Earth also suffered a violent impact, and let out a clanging sound. Wang. However, at this moment, a large golden hand stretched out from the Black Earth and collided with the terrifying blade light. It tore apart the saber lights that filled the sky and slammed into the body of the Golden Crow tribe expert. Boom. The body of the Golden Crow tribe elite was torn into pieces. Blood spurted out, and miserable shrieks rang out. The 6 people below originally had cold smiles on their faces. Those who dared to provoke them would definitely die. However, their smiles froze on their faces. How could it be? Someone slapped away their bodies with a single palm. Who was this person? He was too powerful. Could he be a chief disciple? The 6 people instantly stood up. Extremely cold light burst out from their eyes. Especially Jin Kongjue, who took a step forward, and the illusory flames on his body surged. Who exactly are you? How dare you go against our Golden Crow tribe? Is your Golden Crow tribe very powerful? I'll go against you. What can you do to me? A figure walked out from the Black Spirit boat. Jin Kongjue's pupils shrank. Lin Wudi. You're courting death. Is he Lin Wudi? The eyes of the remaining 5 people turned red in an instant. Let's work together to kill him. Yes, there was no need to talk about rules with them. The 5 of them soared into the sky. Kid, go and die. The 5 of them displayed their great abilities and charged towards Lin Xian crazily. Lin Xian sneered. I knew you guys were despicable and shameless. Hence, I've already prepared a great gift for you. Buzz. He waved his hand and took out the Great Sage Pagoda. He opened the flames inside and poured them down. Using flames to deal with us? You're courting death. The Golden Crow experts sneered. They were born from flames. Furthermore, it was rumored that they cultivated the fire of the sun. How could mere flames do anything to them? This Lin Wudi wasn't anything special. He didn't have any brains at all. The 5 of them were filled with disdain. However, they soon panicked. Something was wrong. The power of the flames was too violent. 2 of them were instantly injured. Their arms were burned and turned into ashes. The other 3 people's bodies were also charred black. The pain almost caused them to faint. Damn it, retreat quickly. There's something wrong with the flames. The 5 of them roared crazily and retreated quickly. They were no longer as arrogant as before. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Weren't you all very powerful earlier? Weren't you all disdainful? Why are you all running now? Xiao Chen's finger was like a saber as he chopped down, directly chopping off the head of a Golden Crow race expert. At the same time, he threw another punch, shattering the body of another Golden Crow race expert. The 2 screamed miserably in the air. In an instant, the 5 of them were severely injured. Damn it. Below, Jin Kongjue did not make a move. Originally, he thought that with the 5 of them working together, they would not be able to take down the other party easily. How could he have imagined that the other party's means were so strong, exceeding his expectations? Despicable and shameless brat, do you dare to fight me head-on? Jin Kongjue roared at the sky. Why would I not dare? I am here to kill the 7th Crown Prince this time. Where is he? Get him to scram out here. The 7th Crown Prince is not here. Furthermore, there is no need for the Crown Prince to do anything. I can kill you myself. Jin Kongjue was simply too furious. This brat was too arrogant. He even dared to kill their crown prince. Today Jin Kongjue had to kill Xiaoqun. Not here? Lin Xian frowned. Was the information wrong? Or did the 7th crown prince leave? The information should not be wrong. Otherwise, Jin Kongjue and the others would not be here. That crown prince probably had something to do and left. He was really lucky to be able to escape with his life. That's fine as well. I'll let your 7th crown prince live for 2 more days. Today, I'll take you down first. Lin Xian looked at Jin Kongjue. Jin Kongjue soared into the air. Ignorant ant. Do you think you can fight against me? Previously, I did not make a move against you at Crescent Moon Lake, because I feared the demonic race army. Otherwise, do you think you could have left alive? Today on Heavenly Fate Star, there is no demonic race army. Let's see how you are going to fight me. Boom. Jin Kongjue attacked. His palm released a fiery light. The golden crow image caused space to tremble as he threw a palm strike forward. Chapter 3861. Alright, I'll use you to practice. Lin Xian waved his fist. His physique had improved and he wanted to try it out. He might as well use his opponent as a guinea pig. His fist and his opponent's palm bloomed in the sky, emitting an unparalleled radiance. Boom. Both of them were evenly matched. Jin Kongjue snorted coldly. Kid, I was just testing you. I didn't use my full strength. Now you're going to die. Another punch, even more violent than before. On the other side, Lin Xian nodded slightly. That was just his previous strength. Now it was his new strength. His fist was like a dragon as it punched out. With a bang, the sky fell and the earth cracked. This time, 3 cracks appeared on the golden palm. How could it be? Jin Kongjue felt his palm crack. The pain made him shocked. How could his opponent's physique become so strong? Just as he was in a daze, Lin Xian attacked violently. His right hand was like a knife as he slashed at his arm. His arm was immediately broken. At the same time, his left leg flew up like a coiling dragon and kicked him in the waist. With a bang, he was sent flying. With the injured area as the center, cracks spread out in all directions. Many cracks appeared on his body as if his whole body would shatter at any time. How could it be? His opponent injured him in an instant. The 5 Golden Crow tribe experts were also stunned. They were resisting the sea of fire while watching the battle. Seeing this scene, their scalps went numb. Impossible. I must be dreaming. Although Jin Kongjue was not the crown prince, he was an extremely terrifying genius of the Golden Crow tribe. He even dared to challenge a top genius like Lei Zhen. But now he was no match for Lin Wudi. This is impossible. Jin Kongjue was stunned. He could not believe it. How could his opponent injure him so easily? Damn it, how did your strength become so strong? He was shocked to find that his opponent's strength and physique seemed to have increased to an unimaginable level. This was simply too unbelievable. Not long ago, he had seen his opponent at the Crescent Moon Lake. At that time, he could feel that his opponent was on par with him. But now his opponent had actually surpassed him. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Geniuses naturally have to improve every day. Do you think I'm the same as an ant like you still stuck in the same spot? Damn it, I don't believe it. Die. Jin Kongjue roared. He was infuriated. The other party actually called him an ant. He couldn't stand it. A pair of golden wings grew out of his back, continuously flapping as he charged over. Flames surged, terrifying radiance blotting out the sky. His feathers flew out, turning into countless rays of light. After each feather exploded, they pierced through a part of the world. With over 1,000 feathers, he was confident that he could kill the other party. Boom. Boom. Sparks flew in front of him, piercing through the void. Jin Kongjue stood in the void and roared towards the sky. Let's see how you'll die this time. Although they had suffered heavy losses this time, several of their people had been burned to death, and the remaining 2 were seriously injured and on the verge of death. They had lost the ability to fight. But so what? In the end, he still managed to kill the other party with ease. There was only one outcome for those who dared to oppose the Golden Crow clan: death. Humph, is this your ultimate technique? It's just SOSO. A pair of large hands tore apart the flames. Lin Xian walked out. The 9 young divine body shone even brighter. How is this possible? You're not dead? I don't believe it. Jin Kongjue was dumbfounded. His opponent actually didn't die after such a violent attack. Moreover, it seemed that he wasn't injured at all. What kind of physique is this? Then you'll have a taste of my fist. Lin Xian started to swing his fists. He was extremely violent, even more violent than the other party. He beat Jin Kongjue until his entire body trembled. Damn it, every time they collided, Jin Kongjue's bones would break. If not for his strong vitality, strong physique, and strong recovery ability, he would have died. He would have been beaten to a pulp. Even so, he wouldn't be able to resist for long. Damn it, I'll fight it out with you. Jin Kongjue roared. A golden crow phantom appeared in his body. He also turned into his true form and roared towards the sky. This time, he opened his mouth and spat out a torrential flame. It turned into a flaming golden crow, burning vigorously. Not good, retreat quickly. When the two surviving golden crow experts saw this scene, they used their last bit of strength to retreat quickly. They knew that Jin Kongjue had used his ultimate move. This was an ultimate move, the golden crow's raging flames kill. It was enough to sweep away everything. As soon as they retreated, the area in front of them exploded. Countless rays of light filled the sky. The raging flames were enough to destroy everything. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He punched in all directions, turning into fists one after another. In the end, there were 18 fists. They were like 18 blazing suns, revolving in the sky and stabilizing the area. This made the golden crow phantom unable to get close. Is this your trump card? If you don't have a new trump card, you can go and die. Lin Xian sneered. His eyes shone with a cold light. Damn it. Jin Kongjue was so angry that his entire body trembled. He had never been looked down upon like this before. He flapped his wings and swooped down. A pair of sharp claws tore through the void, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. These two claws were really too strong. They shone with a sharp light, like two sacred weapons. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Competing with him in physique was an act of seeking death. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them exchanged blows, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack, destroying everything. Thousands of miles of mountains and rivers collapsed continuously. Moreover, the collapse was still spreading. Buzz. Suddenly, Lin Xian slashed out a ray of sword qi, tearing through the void. Jin Kongjue did not dare to resist. His body suddenly turned and dodged the sword by a hair's breadth. However, he was still hit. A crack appeared on his wing, and half of his body lost consciousness. His opponent's sword qi was even more terrifying. If he was hit completely, he would definitely be split in half. Brat, you forced me to do this. I will definitely kill you. Even if I am seriously injured and my foundation is damaged, I will still send you to hell. Jin Kongjue flew up. His body covered the sky and covered the sun. The flames on his body started to burn. There was even a trace of red light on them. This guy started to use the power of his bloodline. Is he burning his bloodline power? Flames danced on those golden feathers. In the end, they formed the golden crow, circling non-stop. This was really too shocking. At this moment, there were thousands of golden crow silhouettes circling. It was impossible to tell which one was real. The aura they carried was abnormally terrifying. With the power of one person, he could create thousands of clones. This was too terrifying. The two experts of the Golden Crow tribe were wild with joy when they saw this scene. With this absolute art's divine ability, the other party should be dead for sure, right? Kill. There was a roar in the sky. Thousands of golden crow silhouettes swooped down. There was nothing that could stop him from doing so. Chapter 3862. Lin Xian's expression was very serious. He had to admit that the Golden Crow clan was very talented. And this Jin Kongjue was one of the best. This kind of bloodline talent was really too strong. It was naturally much stronger than other clans. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He pulled out the unparalleled sword and the dragon sword spirit roared. Its eyes shone with an unparalleled light. Countless dragon-shaped swords flew out and intertwined in the sky. They formed a 10,000 dragon picture on the tip of his sword. 10,000 dragons against the golden crows. This was a peerless collision that caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. Countless large cracks intertwined, making everyone despair. In the distance, some people saw this scene and were terrified. Who was fighting? Should they go over and take a look? Did they want to die? They would be courting death if they went over with such terrifying power. They were definitely two top-notch experts, and they stayed far away from them. If such a person went berserk, anyone who got close to him would die without a doubt. At this moment, no one dared to go and watch the battle. They could only run away quickly. However, with a quick glance, they saw countless golden crows circling in the sky. It was the experts of the Golden Crow clan. Heavens, there must be tens of thousands of golden crows. Did the Golden Crow group have so many experts? These people went crazy. At the same time, they were even more curious. Who was the expert fighting the Golden Crow clan? All of a sudden, they saw tens of thousands of giant dragons roaring at the same time. And there were very few in all directions. Those were giant dragons. Did the people of the dragons appear? Dragons against golden crows. This was a battle between two powerful divine beasts. These people went crazy. Golden crows were torn apart by the dragon claws one after another. Of course, some of those giant dragons were also burned to ashes. The two sides kept fighting. And there was a figure that kept shuttling back and forth. It was Lin Xian. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He used his heavenly secret super ability to the extreme. He started to search for Jin Kongju's true body. At the same time, he used stellar transposition. Any destructive power that got close to him was repelled by him. He turned into a bolt of lightning and shuttled through the void. He found it. Soon he laughed coldly, and the unparalleled sword rushed over. The sword landed on the Golden Crow, and sent that person flying. Half of Jin Kongju's body was chopped off. Ah, damn it. How is this possible? The fact that the other party could create 10,000 giant dragons to fight against his 10,000 golden crows was already shocking enough. For someone to be able to resist his bloodline absolute art was simply too unbelievable. Now he was scared out of his wits. Damn it, the other party was actually able to see through his real body. How did he do it? He resisted with great difficulty and recovered his body. However, after a few strikes he was split open again. This person was too terrifying. His strength was too strong. Jin Kongjue felt despair. Could it be that this person had entered the Bronze Gate? He suddenly had an idea that made his heart beat wildly. Damn it, he had to leave. If the other party had really entered the Bronze Door, then he was no match for him. He wanted to leave. And then he would also enter the Bronze Gate and obtain great power to kill the other party. Thinking of this, he turned around and wanted to leave. Did he escape? Jin Kongjue actually escaped. The two Golden Crow race experts who were watching the battle from afar were dumbfounded. This Lin Wudi was too strong. They had 7 experts on their side. Aside from Jin Kongjue, there were 6 more. However, the other party killed one of them the moment he arrived and burned the other 3 to death. Now, the two Golden Crow race experts had narrowly escaped from the blazing fire. They were severely injured and on the verge of death. They had placed all their hopes on Jin Kongjue. Who would have thought that Jin Kongjue wanted to escape as well? Who else could kill the other party? Could it be that the 7th Crown Prince had to make a move himself? Lin Xian would not give Jin Kongjue any chance to escape. He attacked forcefully, beating the other party into a bloody mess and causing feathers to fall off. In the end, Lin Xian managed to save up half of the feathers. He even used the Great Destruction Spear to create a demonic domain to suppress Jin Kongjue. Jin Kongjue was severely injured and on the verge of death. He could not escape at all. Jin Kongjue showed a ferocious expression. Damn it, how did you find this place? He was simply too shocked. Was it a coincidence? Did you think that your Golden Crow race was a monolithic entity? Come out. Jin Kongjue waved his hand and grabbed a soul from the black earth, tossing it forward. That person was the soul of the Golden Crow expert. At this moment, he was trembling in fear. How could this be? When he was in the black earth, he had already seen the scene outside, and was scared out of his wits. In his opinion, even if the 7th Crown Prince was not around, Jin Kongjue could still kill the other party. However, the result of this matter exceeded his expectations. The other party beat Jin Kongjue up, leaving him unable to fight back. It was you. Damn it, You dared to betray the crown prince. Jin Kongjue was so angry that he vomited blood. How could he not recognize the other party? This was someone by his side. No wonder the other party could find this place so accurately, and even make preparations in advance. It was their people who betrayed them. No, it was not me. I did not betray them. I only wanted to. That soul trembled. However, it was instantly killed. Jin Kongjue used his strength to kill that soul traitor. I will make sure that you never reincarnate. The boundless blazing fire burned that soul. I did not. The soul screamed miserably. However, it soon turned to ashes. Good method. Lin Xian laughed and clapped. However, don't worry. You will reunite in hell soon. Damn brat. I will not let you succeed. Despair appeared in Jin Kongju's eyes. Suddenly, his body swelled up like a small mountain. In an instant, it turned into a 10,000 zhang tall mountain. He exploded with a boom. Die for me. He let out a ferocious roar. And his soul transformed into a little golden crow. He broke through the void, wanting to leave. Buzz. Lin Xian was startled by his crazy attempt to self-destruct. He quickly took out the Great Sage Pagoda and blocked this violent attack. At the same time, he waved the Great Destruction Spear and locked onto the other party's soul. It turned into a jet-black light that flickered in the sky and instantly pierced through the other party's soul. I am not satisfied. Jin Kongju's soul dimmed and disappeared. If I can enter the bronze door, I will not be defeated. He turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. Although you killed me, the 7th Crown Prince will avenge me. I will be waiting for you in hell. In the end, his soul disappeared. Lin Xian kept the Great Destruction Spear and walked out of the Great Sage Pagoda. You can go to hell obediently. However, I can swear that the one who will reunite with you in hell will not be me, but your 7th Crown Prince. Lin Xian's eyes exploded with cold killing intent. He turned his head and stared at the two people in the distance. The two golden crows were scared out of their wits. They wanted to run, but their bodies were already seriously injured. How could they escape? Lin Xian's palm covered the sky and grabbed the two of them, locking spring and autumn, reincarnation, torturing the two of them. Lin Xian killed the two of them and took their storage rings. Then he fell into deep thought. It turned out that the 7th Crown Prince had found a golden palace and went to search for the secret inside. Jin Kongjue had rushed over later. He brought news of the bronze door. This news was naturally known by Lin Xian. Chapter 38-63. Lin Xian killed 13 members of the Flying Fire Python clan and 8 members of the Golden Crow clan. He had 350 flowers of the Tao on him. It was unbelievable. One had to know that it hadn't been a long time, and he hadn't met many people. It was already heaven-defying to have dozens of flowers on him. But now Lin Xian only had 350. Lin Xian felt that it was time to go to the Bronze Gate. He also wanted to see what was inside the Bronze Gate. He took away all the corpses of the golden crows. They were all delicious. Lin Xian wouldn't miss them. Then he flew in the direction of the Bronze Gate. After he left, the people in the distance finally dared to come up. They saw the shattered sky and blood around them. But there were no corpses. They were puzzled. These feathers should be the feathers of the Golden Crow clan. Heavens! Were the Golden Crow clan members injured? They were too shocked. Who dared to fight against the Golden Crow clan? I don't think it's as simple as injuries. Someone said. Look at the sword energy and flames here. I think of someone Lin Wudi. What? Are you saying that Lin Wudi fought against the Golden Crow clan? Someone nodded. Only he would dare to do that. If it was Lin Wudi's battle, then the disappearance of the corpses of the Golden Crow clan members could be explained. The Demon King must have taken them back to make delicious food. Thinking of this possibility, everyone's scalps went numb. Soon the news spread. Some people were shocked when they heard that the Golden Crow clan members had died, and their corpses were taken away by the Demon King. The Demon King had become terrifying again. They must not provoke him. Demonic beasts like the Demon City felt their scalps go numb. Damn it! They were now scared because their bodies were all delicacies from land and sea. If they were caught by the Demon King, not only would they be killed, but they would also be eaten. They couldn't accept such an outcome. Everyone was anxious. afraid that the Demon King would come. However, Lin Xian wasn't in the mood to care about these people. At this moment, he came to a quiet place hidden in the mountains. It was very strange. What was even more bizarre was that there was a bronze door. The bronze gate was simple and unadorned. It had the vicissitudes of time and mysterious runes engraved on it. Lin Xian circled the bronze gate dozens of times, and found that it was really just a gate. There were mountains behind the gate. There was nothing special about it. Could it be that he had to open it? He walked up, placed his hands on the bronze gate, and pushed it hard. Boom boom. The bronze door made a trembling sound and slowly opened. A green radiance flowed out from the inside. Lin Xian looked over, and found that it was hazy inside. He couldn't see clearly from the outside. After he entered, he was greatly surprised. He had previously probed behind the bronze door, but there was nothing behind it. Could it be that it was connected to another space? Welcome. A view. Lin Xian was startled. Was there someone else behind the bronze door? Who was it? Shocked beyond belief, he looked around with his golden eyes. In the next moment, he realized that a figure had appeared out of thin air in front of him. Spatial abilities? Lin Xian was shocked. That figure was wearing bronze armor, and even had a bronze mask on his face. I'm the envoy here. You can call me the Bronze Envoy. I'm in charge of everything behind the bronze gate. Young man, what do you want to exchange for? There was actually a bronze emissary behind the bronze gate, who was in charge of everything. Was he even alive? Was Destiny Star under someone else's control? What kind of power was that? Even the sacred city couldn't control it. Was it the Great Sage? Or was it someone even more terrifying than the Great Sage? Lin Xian didn't know. He felt that everything was full of mystery. He took a deep breath and temporarily suppressed the doubts in his heart. Senior, this is my first time here. I don't know what I can exchange for in the Bronze Gate. What kind of treasures are there? Indeed, Lin Xian only knew that the Dao flower could be exchanged for. But how? He didn't know. The bronze envoy smiled. You'll know when you see this. He waved his hand and a light screen formed in front of him. There were images and words on the screen. Lin Xian looked. The images were probably the items to exchange for, and the words were the requirements. Lin Xian was shocked when he saw the first line. At the very beginning were saint weapons, saint medicines, and martial arts techniques of saints. Clearly, there were no ordinary items here. Behind each item was a list of the required quantity for the Dao flower. Lin Xian gave it a cursory glance and saw that some items were marked with question marks below. The number of Dao flowers wasn't written, which confused him. What was going on? Senior, what's the meaning of this? The bronze envoy said in a low voice. You can't exchange for the items below, so there's no number written. Could this flood martial scripture be the ultimate divine ability of the flood martial emperor? Lin Xian suddenly exclaimed. That was because he had found something below where the question marks had been placed. However, he didn't quite believe it. Wasn't the flood martial scripture Emperor Flood Martial's legacy? How precious was a legacy of a great emperor? Only the imperial clans had it. Moreover, he remembered that Yin Nantian had received the flood martial scripture, but had already killed him. It must be someone with the same name. However, the bronze envoy did say that it was indeed a great legacy. One could exchange for a great emperor's legacy here. Lin Xian was stunned. That couldn't be, right? How many Dao flowers would that require? 108,000 heavenly Dao golden lotuses. Upon hearing this number, Lin Xian immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. That meant that there was no hope at all. That was because the strongest person he knew of right now was probably his senior brother, Fu Hongye. Last time, Fu Hongye had created 6 heavenly Dao golden lotuses, shocking the second astral realm. But compared to 108,000, it wasn't even a fraction. Lin Xian shook his head. Let's be realistic. He had 350 now, so he could only exchange for some of the earlier ones. Lin Xian's heart was burning with desire. He found many things that made his eyes red, but they were all in the tens of thousands. It seemed that when he got out, he'd have to hunt down his enemies and get a large number of Dao flowers, then come back to exchange. Young man, you're the first to open the bronze door, so you have a discount this time. I'll give you half the price of the items you exchange. Upon hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. This was truly an unexpected surprise. Chapter 3864. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Great! This way, the items he exchanged could be upgraded by a grade. This meant that his 350 Dao flowers could be exchanged for more than 700 items. He hurried to find them. There were many items that could be exchanged for, but 3 of them tempted him. One was an elixir that would increase his cultivation by 500 years. 1 elixir for 500 years of cultivation was tempting. However, Lin Xian didn't immediately exchange for it. Instead, he looked at the other 2. The second was a 13,000-year-old sacred medicine that could enhance one's soul. Lin Xian was very tempted. The third was a mystique, the 5-element ring. It had 2 uses. One was as a tool, and the other was to bind and restrain people. Lin Xian was also tempted. After all, he cultivated the 5-element Dao. If he could cultivate it, he would be exceptionally terrifying. Lin Xian thought about it, and felt that it was better to increase his strength first. After all, this was just the beginning. He would have to fight more and more battles in the future. 500 years of cultivation might not be enough for him to raise his cultivation level. As for his soul, his Tianji godly eye was still enough. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to exchange for the 5-element mystique. Senior, I'm still in the process of exchanging for the 5-element mystique. After collecting Lin Xian's 350 Dao flowers, the bronze emissary reached out a finger and tapped Lin Xian's forehead. In the next instant, some information appeared in Lin Xian's mind. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian left the bronze gate and made a mark near it. This would make it easier for him to come in the future. He could also tell his friends and fellow sect members about this mark. After exiting, Lin Xian found a place to seclude himself. He wanted to study the 5-element ring. The 5-element ring used the 5-element Dao to arrange it according to an array formation. This arrangement was unknown to those who didn't cultivate it. Lin Xian was shocked. The 5-element ring was indeed mysterious. If he hadn't been the first to enter, it would have taken him a long time to exchange for it. Now that he was able to grasp it in advance, its might was truly boundless. 10 days later, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He could already begin to condense the 5-element ring. He condensed the 5 stars and flew out. Immediately, several large mountains were completely penetrated by him. The incision was even, and there were no cracks. This move was very powerful, which made Lin Xian very happy. Moreover, this 5 stars also had a special characteristic, which was that it could be nurtured within one's body. It was similar to a law weapon, but it took less time to nurture. After a month or 2, or even a few days of training, he would be able to use the 5-elemental ring once. Its power was quite terrifying. As someone actually came. Lin Xian was surprised. He wasn't far from the bronze door, so he could sense that someone was coming. It seemed that someone had also found the bronze door here. Look who it is. He glanced over, and then his expression became extremely interesting. It was actually them? Lin Xian was too surprised. With a sway of his body, he charged forward. A few figures streaked across the sky. The power of thunder on these people was abnormally terrifying. Unexpectedly, instead of finding Lin Wudi, they found the bronze door. It was really an unexpected surprise. He would mark this place and report it to senior brother Lei Zhen. A man appeared in the sky. It was Wang Xiao. Beside him were a few fellow disciples from Thunder God City. There were a total of 5 people. They looked at the bronze door with incomparable joy. Senior brother Wang, since we've already found it, why don't we go in and see what's inside? This way, we'll have a goal and motivation in the future. Someone next to him laughed. Wang Xiao also nodded. That's right, let's go in and see. They flew forward. At this moment, Wang Xiao's body was surrounded by nearly 200 Dao flowers. It was exceptionally spectacular and majestic. It seemed that these days he had killed many people. Obediently hand over the Dao flowers on your body, and I can leave you with an intact corpse. At this moment, a voice sounded in the sky. After everyone heard it, they were stunned and then angry. Courting death. Who dared to rob them? Did they want to die? We're from Thunder God City. Get out here. Wang Xiao sneered, his eyes sweeping in all directions. In the next moment he was stunned. It's you. The others were also stunned. Lin Wudi. They were really stunned. Ha 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 ha, what an unexpected surprise. Wang Xiao laughed. Not only did they find the bronze door, but they also found Lin Wudi. One had to know that their mission this time was to find Lin Wudi. Kid, do you know that we've been looking for you all over the world? You actually dared to be arrogant here instead of hiding obediently. What Lin Wudi? He's not that great. One of Thunder God City's people sneered. He didn't even have a Dao flower on him. Could it be that his original 4 Dao flowers were also robbed by someone else? These people sneered again and again. Wang Xiao narrowed his eyes. I originally wanted to take the Dao flowers on you, but I didn't expect you to have no value at all. Of course, there were also people who frowned. After all, Lin Wudi's reputation was too great. Senior Brother Wang, should we hurry up and send a message to Senior Brother Lei Zhen and ask him to come? Wang Xiao waved his hand. There was no hurry. Lin Wudi was just a legend. How could he be the one to do it? He had infinite confidence at this moment. He had more than 200 Dao flowers on him, which was a symbol of his strength. The other party didn't even have one on him. Such a person wasn't worthy of his senior brother to take action. He could deal with him. Kid, kneel on the ground obediently and hand over your secrets. Then, wait for my senior brother to arrive. Wang Xiao looked at the other party disdainfully. The experts at the side also sneered. Kid, you dare to go against our Thunder God City? Today, we'll send you to hell. Sigh, a group of ignorant people. Lin Xian girl. Since you don't know life from death, I'll give you a big gift. With a wave of his hand, 5 stars appeared in his hand, and then he threw it forward. Boom. The 5 stars flickered between heaven and earth. Not good, senior brother, be careful. Thunder God's people are facing a great enemy. Wang Xiao snorted. A saint weapon? Do you think I'm afraid of you? He opened his mouth and spat out a lightning ball. It suddenly expanded into the size of a small mountain, releasing a destructive aura in the sky. This was a lightning ball, a peerless ability. It could even block a saint weapon, so he wasn't afraid at all. Puff. The 5-element ring jumped, directly tearing apart the lightning ball, and then blasted on Wang Xiao's body. How was that possible? Wang Xiao's pupils shrank. His lightning ball was torn apart in an instant. Moreover, what frightened him even more was that the power of the 5-element ring was far beyond his imagination. Chapter 3865. This scene seemed to have frozen in time. The people from Thunder God City were completely stunned. Ah! Wang Xiao let out an angry roar. His eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. The other party had cut him in half at the waist with a single blow. How was this possible? He was a top genius with more than 200 Dao flowers. These were all symbols of his strength. The other party didn't even have a single Dao flower. How could he compete with him? However, the outcome of the matter was far beyond his expectations. Even Lin Xian was shocked. He knew that the 5-element ring was very powerful, but he didn't expect it to be so powerful. This strike had actually pierced through a top-notch expert. This is great. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. If he placed the 5-element ring in his body and cultivated it for a period of time, then he might be able to pierce through the chief disciple. As expected of the Mandate Star, it was indeed a peerless ability. So this is your strength. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? I have to say, you're courting death. Lin Xian looked at the other party and sneered. Damn it. Wang Xiao's body quickly reassembled. His wounds came in contact with countless thunder runes. His eyes were filled with killing intent. You actually dared to trick me. He guessed that the thing just now was definitely not ordinary. It was very likely a terrifying saint artifact, or the other party's trump card. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so easy to hit her. I was careless just now. Now, I'll let you know what it's like to live a life worse than death. Endless thunder condensed in his hand, forming a thunder bow. Then a thunder arrow appeared in his hand. Thunder erupted from his body. He pulled the bow and released the arrow. In an instant, thunder rang out. The arrow turned into a thunder dragon and rushed forward. Countless Dao surrounded it. It was abnormally terrifying. Thunder Feather Arrow was a killing ability. It seemed that Wang Xiao was really angry and wanted to kill her in an instant. In the distance, the other people from Thunder God City also revealed cold smiles. Their little senior brother Wang was serious now. Killing the other party in an instant was as easy as pie. Brat, you won't be able to dodge. My thunder feather arrow won't come back until it's stained with blood. Wang Xiao laughed in the air. However, to his surprise, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. Damn it, was he looking down on him? Wang Xiao's face turned cold. No one dared to underestimate him. He would make the other party pay a painful price. Buzz buzz buzz. Lin Xian floated in the air, his body blossoming with light. The 9 suns divine flame danced, and turned into one golden crow after another, enveloping him. This scene was extremely terrifying and strange. Those golden crows spread their wings and circled around, bringing with them powerful flames. When the thunder feather arrow flew into the sea of fire, its speed instantly slowed down. In the end, he was even entangled by countless golden crows, unable to move forward at all. Lin Xian, on the other hand, stretched out 2 hands and gently caught the flying feather arrow between his fingers. Then he looked ahead with a disdainful smirk. This is the peerless divine ability you were talking about? You want to use something like this to take my life? I say, is your brain flooded with water? A disdainful voice sounded, leaving the god of thunder dumbfounded. How was this possible? Why wasn't Lin Xian injured at all? Wang Xiao was also stunned. He could not believe that Lin Xian had broken through his peerless divine ability so easily. Ah! I want you dead. I must kill you. Thunder surged on Wang Xiao's body. His big bow kept flickering with light as arrows flew out one after another. 9 arrows danced in the air. Each arrow was more powerful than the previous one. Lin Xian also made a move. His terrifying palm covered the sky, and at the same time, a terrifying sword chi flew out from his body to contend with it. The two fought fiercely. Lin Xian's physique was simply too valiant. It swept through all 4 directions. Those arrows were all slapped away by his big hand, and his sword chi was unparalleled. The unparalleled sword bloomed in the air, splitting the remaining arrows. After 100 moves, Wang Xiao was smashed into pieces and fled in panic. What followed was a merciless pursuit. After 200 moves, Wang Xiao was like a dead dog, lying on the ground. The other 4 people from Thunder God City were completely stupefied. Their senior brother Wang Xiao had actually been seriously injured by someone, and had been thoroughly sealed. Damn it! Has this Lin Wudi become so terrifying? Quickly! Send the message! They instantly sent the message out, and at the same time, they roared crazily. Damn kid! Let go of our senior brother. That is, kneel down and accept your death. Kid, you are too arrogant. I have already sent a message to our chief senior brother. When our senior brother Leijun arrives, it will be the time of your death. Pum. Ah! Lin Xian did not reply, but made a move. How could these 4 martial artists from Thunder God City be his opponent? Although they were also geniuses, they were beaten to a miserable state. They fell to the ground like dead dogs, and were stepped on by Lin Xian. Leijun is coming? What a surprise! Well, I will give him a big gift here. Lin Xian's eyes bloomed with a biting cold light. Before entering the heavenly fate star, there were a few people who were very arrogant, saying that they would kill him if he entered the heavenly fate star. Today he would like to see how these people would kill him. Wang Xiao and the 4 sages from Thunder God City were completely suppressed by him with the 5 elements mountain. He began to set up a formation in the surroundings. He also released the remaining half of the flame in the Great Sage Pagoda, and merged it into the formation. Feeling the terror of the flame, Wang Xiao and the other people from Thunder God City felt their scalps tingle. Damn it! He actually had such a trump card in his hand. Wang Xiao's face was pale. Previously, he was not convinced and thought that he was careless. But now, seeing the flame, his face completely changed. If the other party had used this flame at the beginning, he would have been seriously injured even if he did not die. His ending would be worse than now. Why was the other party so strong? When he saw the other party before, he was confident that he could kill the other party. Suddenly he had a thought. Could it be that the other party had entered the bronze door? That must be it. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. Why was he so stupid before? There was a bronze door nearby, and the other party didn't have a single Dao flower on him. It was obvious that he had just entered the door and exchanged for a treasure. It was laughable that Head thought the other party was too weak to obtain a Dao flower. It was truly ironic. This wrong judgment not only harmed him, it might even harm their entire Thunder God City. Could senior brother Leijun withstand it? To tell the truth, they didn't have much confidence. On the other side, Leijun stopped flying and looked at the formation in his hand, his eyes shining with a biting cold light. What's wrong, senior brother? The surrounding sages of the Thunder God City also stopped, their faces filled with doubt. Chapter 3866. Leijun revealed a cold smile. He had finally found that brat. When the sages of Thunder God City heard this, they were shocked. Was it that Lin Wudi? Great, they had finally found him. Senior brother Lei, what should we do now? Are we still going to the Golden Palace? Some of them asked. Leijun thought for a while and said, the Golden Palace was definitely not that easy to attack. Even if we were to delay for a while, it wouldn't matter. Now let's go and kill this Lin Wudi first. If I don't kill him, I won't be able to swallow this anger in my heart. Alright, senior brother, we got it. These sages of Thunder God City started forming seals with their palms. Lightning surged from their bodies. One of them took out a saint weapon, forming a huge thunder lightning that wrapped around everyone. After which, the lightning tore through the void and flew towards the distance. Below, there were a few people who were tearing each other apart, reaching an abnormally intense state. Suddenly, at this time, they all felt their blood run cold. They all stopped. They looked towards the sky. An intense crack appeared in the sky, and a boundless black aura spread out. What was that just now? These people were shocked. It was as though a thunder lightning had struck them. It couldn't be, right? Was that a heavenly tribulation? Perhaps it was the people of Thunder God City. They weren't the only ones. Following that, wherever he went, those people were all stunned. The aura of this thunder lightning was too scary. Furthermore, its speed was so fast. Just what had happened? They didn't know. Even if they wanted to chase after it, they couldn't catch up to this thunder lightning. They could only guess. Thinking about it, the person who possessed such power should be their head disciple, Leijun, right? That was the legendary thunder spirit body. On the other side, near the bronze gate, Lin Xian was cultivating while waiting. After waiting for a long time, he stood up and said impatiently, did you guys send the wrong message? Send it to me again. Why isn't your senior brother here yet? The people of Thunder God City were stunned. What the hell? This brat couldn't wait to die? Or was he trying to kill their senior brother? Looking at the surrounding true skills and the flames from before, they spat out saliva. Damn it, eldest senior brother, please don't come, they prayed in their hearts. Lin Xian directly grabbed a person's head and coldly asked. That person was so scared that he almost fainted. He wanted to resist, but after 2 slaps, his face was smashed. Next, Lin Xian began to torture these people. These people from Thunder God City were tortured to the point that they wished they were dead. Damned brat, kill me if you have the guts. Wang Xiao screamed crazily. He had never been tortured like this in his life. Humph, you think I'll let you go? Killing you is a must, but I won't kill you so easily. When I'm done with the torture, I need to find a few more spectators. I will let you personally witness your senior brother Leijun die by my hands. After that, I will send you all to hell. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. This was truly a demon king, making them feel a deep sense of despair. All of a sudden, they were shocked and raised their heads to look. In the distance, there was a huge crack that was spreading rapidly, extending all the way to the vicinity. It was too fast. What was that? It was thunder. It was our godly thunderbolt. These people screamed. Our eldest senior brother is here. Wang Xiao's eyes were also burning with passion. This is great. Senior brother Leijun is here. Brat, your death is here. I will return the torture that you have inflicted on us 100 times, 10,000 times. Later, I will let you know what it means to wish you were dead. They screamed crazily, but what welcomed them was Lin Xian's foot. Lin Xian stomped on their faces. At the same time, he stood up and looked at the sky. Is it finally here? A cold smile appeared on his face. The hunt was about to begin. That huge lightning bolt was actually Thunder God City's powerful divine ability, combined with a spirit boat. It was called the Lightning Spirit Boat. Its speed was extremely fast. At this moment, the Thunder God Sage in the Lightning Spirit Boat said, "Eldest senior brother has arrived at the destination." Lei Zhen opened his eyes, an endless light burst out from them. "Follow me." He waved his hand, and a group of people walked out of the Lightning Spirit Boat. They stood in the void, looking disdainfully at the surroundings. They were like a group of gods descending from the sky. However, soon some people frowned. "What's going on? Why isn't anyone here to welcome us? Where's Wang Xiao?" They were very dissatisfied. This Wang Xiao was getting more and more arrogant recently. Could it be that he didn't even put their eldest senior brother in his eyes? Even a trace of dissatisfaction surfaced in Lei Zhen's eyes. However, when they looked down at the scene below, they were stunned. What's going on? They realized that their Thunder God Sage's men were lying on the ground, wailing in pain. They were tortured beyond recognition. Among them, Wang Xiao was one of them. Their Thunder God City's men were seriously injured by someone. These people were instantly stunned. They stared at a figure standing below. It was a figure that looked like a demon. Lin Wudi. They almost roared. Lei Zhen's eyes instantly turned red, and a biting cold killing intent surrounded the world. "You dare to hurt my men?" He was really angry. Lin Xian coldly snorted. "You're finally here. I've been waiting impatiently. Get down here and accept your death." They lined up in a row and kowtowed to admit their mistakes. He waved his hand, completely disregarding the group of experts above him. Damn it! Damn it! The Thunder God Sage's men were so angry that they vomited blood. Lei Zhen's face was also gloomy. How noble was his identity? Who dared to treat him like this? Even those elders didn't dare to reprimand him. Go down and save our men. Don't touch this Lin Wudi. I want to kill him with my own hands." Lei Zhen waved his hand, and suddenly, 3 figures rushed down, wanting to save Wang Xiao and the others. Lin Xian made his move forcefully. 3 beams of sword light flew out and split the bodies of the 3 in an instant. "You dare to save people in front of me? What a joke. Let Lei Zhen do it himself." Lin Xian coldly snorted. The 3 souls fled in panic. Damn it! They were too frightened. The other party had destroyed their bodies in an instant. At the same time, they realized that the other party had stretched out a golden hand, wanting to grab their souls. "Eldest senior brother, save me." The 3 screamed for help. Lei Zhen was also angry. "You're courting death. How dare you hurt my men in front of me? It's unforgivable." With a roar, endless thunderbolts struck down from the sky, as if it was a lightning tribulation. "If you dare to make a move, I'll tear you into pieces." Lin Xian coldly sneered. "You're not qualified to threaten me." His golden hand blocked the sky full of thunder. At the same time, a golden light blade shot out from his eyes, killing the 3 souls. The 3 souls screamed and wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian's Tianji divine ability was so powerful that they were instantly destroyed. Chapter 3867. Is he dead? The sages of Thunder God City in the sky were completely stunned. Their companion had been killed so easily? At this moment, they felt fear once again. After Lin Xian killed the 3 of them, he sneered. "Who do you think you are? Do you think everyone has to listen to you? You want to attack just because you want to? Let me tell you that you don't have the final say in this world." Lei Zhen was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He couldn't stand the other party provoking him. Soon, the anger on his face disappeared and was replaced by coldness. "Kid, are you trying to provoke me? Unfortunately, it's useless. I've been through hundreds of battles and killed my way up. The battles that I've experienced are definitely not something that an ant like you can imagine. This kind of provocation is useless against me. Today, I will kill you and use your blood as a sacrifice to my Thunder God Chang's spirit." One had to admit that Lei Zhen was really too strong and his martial will was very firm. He recovered his state of mind so quickly. He was indeed a difficult opponent to deal with. However, Lin Xian wasn't afraid. He didn't plan to break down the other party mentally. What he wanted to do was to crush the other party in terms of strength. Is that so? If you want to attack, then attack. I heard that you have a thunder spirit body. I wonder what's so special about your blood. After I kill you, I will suck all the blood out of your body and use your blood to cook a pot of golden crow soup. It should be a delicacy. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a cold smirk. The others felt their scalps go numb when they heard that. Go to hell. Lei Zhan couldn't hold it in anymore. Even though he had a firm mind, when he heard those words, he was furious. He roared and lightning bloomed all over his body. His long hair danced in the wind. At this moment he was like a god, extremely dazzling. The thunder god sages around him retreated frantically. They knew how powerful the thunder array was. Once the battle started, the 9 heavens and 10 earths would shatter. Now that this Lin Wuti dared to act so recklessly, he would definitely end up in a miserable state. Boom. Lei Zhan made his move. His palm was filled with endless lightning law. A terrifying power surged like a sea of lightning, pressing down from the sky. Boom. Lin Xian was fearless. He rushed forward with his golden fist and attacked his opponent. Their attacks collided in the sky, causing the void to explode in an instant. Countless large cracks appeared in the void. The terrifying power of thunder and fire intertwined in all directions. The thunder gods' people frantically retreated. This power was beyond their imagination. As for those who were sealed below, they were sent flying. Among them, the bodies of 4 people from the Thunder God City were torn apart in an instant. Their souls were also completely annihilated by the collision of this energy. He was also heavily injured and flew into the distance. Lin Xian glanced at it and frowned slightly. Had long since taken their Dao flowers. Now he had nearly 300 of them. However, what made him frown was that the lightning array was so cruel that it didn't care about the lives of its fellow disciples. That man kept saying that he was going to avenge his junior brother. Yet when he attacked, he ended up affecting these people with his battle. Lei Zhan didn't even blink when the people of Thunder God City died. Even Wang Xiao's death didn't seem to concern him at all. This showed that he was an extremely selfish person. He only cared about his own interests. Everything else was just fleeting clouds. Such a person coupled with his powerful strength could be said to be extremely dangerous. Lin Xian sneered. How despicable. You keep saying that you're going to avenge your people. But in the end, the 4 of you who died were all killed by you. Brat, they all died because of you. So we'll cut off your head and offer it to them as a sacrifice. Lei Zhan wasn't affected at all. He attacked crazily once more. At this moment, he really was like a god wrapped in thunder, dazzling and resplendent. This thunder was much more terrifying than the Thunder God City's lightning. That was because he had a thunder spirit body. He was born for thunder. Sure enough, those martial artists of the Thunder God City were also shivering. Although Lei Zhan's previous actions had chilled their hearts, although Lei Zhan's actions were cold, no one dared to say anything. That was because Lei Zhan's physique was too special. His strength was too violent. Even in the Holy City, Lei Zhan's attacks were also violent. It was common for him to heavily injure his comrades. They didn't dare to resist at all. Lin Xian was also dignified. He couldn't help but admit that Lei Zhan was too strong. Among the top geniuses, there weren't many who could resist this kind of thunder Dao aura. Buzz. Lin Xian's body shone brightly. Endless golden flames rushed to the 9 heavens. At the same time, the black Qilin tattoo appeared on his body. It was as if the Qilin was resurrected. It was a kind of extreme young energy that could tear the 9 heavens apart. At this moment, Lin Xian had turned into a war god. The Thunder God City's cultivators who were watching the battle from afar were also dumbfounded. To be honest, they didn't dare to believe it. In their opinion, Lei Zhan's thunder spirit body was enough to sweep through everything. There was nothing else that could compare to it. However, the aura that Lin Wuti displayed at this moment was also very strong. It wasn't any weaker than Lei Zhan's. It was really too shocking. Could it be that Lei Zhan also had a supreme physique? Could it be that Lei Zhan's physique wasn't any weaker than the thunder spirit body? This was really too shocking. Lei Zhan frowned. There was actually someone who could block his thunder spirit body in terms of physique. He couldn't bear it. Kill. He turned into a ray of light and rushed over. For a long time, He had been the only one in Thunder God City. He was an unparalleled genius. But recently Thunder God City was filled with legends about Lin Wuti. This made him feel that his light was taken away by Lei Jun. He couldn't bear it. In this battle he must kill Lei Jun with his own hands. No matter what kind of physique Lei Jun had, it couldn't be compared to his thunder spirit body. Lei Jun came, bringing with him a vast sea of lightning. It was a sea of lightning. He was like a god descending. His palm touched the thunder sound and released a terrifying thunderblade aura. The thunder in the sky was like a small mountain. It was huge and fell from the sky. It was so densely packed that it covered the sky. It was too terrifying. Although Lei Jun was only at the middle stage of the fifth heaven, it was so clear that it seemed like it could tear the sky apart. People of the same realm probably couldn't even block a single thunder. At this moment, thousands of thunder were attacking Lin Xian together. Would Lin Xian be able to withstand it? Lin Xian's body bloomed with radiance, illuminating the 9 heavens. How could he be afraid of Lei Jun? His physique was also a divine body. Moreover, he had also been through hundreds of battles. He had even experienced more battles than Lei Jun. Lei Jun dared to look down on him in battle. What a joke! The 9 suns' divine fist drew 9 golden crows, circling between heaven and earth. It was too terrifying. As Lin Xian's divine body grew stronger day by day, the 9 suns' divine body became more and more terrifying. Now when he used the fist technique, it was like 9 suns, moving freely between heaven and earth. This kind of power caused those spectators in the Thunder God City to feel alarmed. Chapter 3868. Lin Wuti was too strong. He was definitely a great enemy. It was no wonder that Wang Xiao and the others were severely injured and tortured to such an extent. Other than Lei Jun, none of them were a match for Lin Fan. They couldn't even take a single punch from him. Boom, boom, boom. Their fists collided in the air. Countless thunder blades shot up into the sky, and terrifying flames spread out like an ocean. At this moment, it was as if 2 worlds were about to be destroyed. The scene was hair-raising. Boom, boom. After the first exchange, the 2 of them continued to attack, sweeping in all directions. They fought from the mountains to the rivers, from the sky to the ground. The intensity of the battle was beyond imagination. Each strike caused the void to shatter for millions of miles. In the end, the entire area was blown apart. Far away, the crowd was shivering. Countless roars and cries rang out. Thousands of beasts were crawling on the ground. At this moment, everyone looked at the place where the endless flames and lightning were spreading. Was this the end of the world? Everyone was frightened and retreated. The experts of Thunder God City were also dumbfounded. They knew that Lin Wuti was strong, but they didn't think that Lin Xian could fight against their lightning array. One had to know that these people had been by Lei Jun's side all year round, fighting in all directions. Naturally, they knew how strong Lei Jun was. He was invincible in the younger generation. In fact, Lei Jun even had a high chance of entering the legendary Pilgrim Board. Such a person's future was definitely limitless. But now he was locked in a fight with Lin Wuti. This made them feel incredulous. Although the 2 of them were both chief disciples, there was a huge difference between them. Lin Wuti had only been in Peerless City for a few years. Even if he was the chief disciple, he couldn't be any younger. But Lei Jun? Although Lei Jun was also the chief disciple of this generation, he had been the chief disciple for 100 years. The difference between the 2 of them was too great. More importantly, Lei Jun was in the middle of the 5th level, while Lin Xian was only in the middle of the 4th level. The difference between the 2 of them was several levels. However, both sides were still tied. What did this mean? Didn't this mean that Lin Wuti's potential was even more terrifying than Lei Jun's? Damn it! What should we do now? The expressions of the experts from the Thunder God City were incomparably ugly. Kill him. He had to kill him. Even if he couldn't kill him, he had to severely injure him. But if that happened, senior brother Lei Jun would blame him. Some people felt their scalps go numb. A total of 15 people came this time. These people frowned. 6 of them said, "You don't have to do anything. The 6 of us will do it." Could it be that you want to use the 6 Divine Thunder formation? They said in horror as they resisted the energy shockwaves around them. The 6 of them nodded. That's right, we're in the 6 lightning god formation. As long as we can injure them, we'll be doing Senior Brother Thunder God a huge favor. This kind of person is not only Senior Lei Zhen's enemy, but also our Thunder God City's 1,000-year-old enemy. We can't let him continue to be arrogant. After discussing for a while, the 6 of them quickly made their moves. These 6 people were all mid-5th heaven experts. Of course, their strength couldn't be compared to Lei Zhen's. Compared to Wang Xiao, they were only slightly weaker. It could be said that they were all elites, terrifying core disciples. At this moment, the 6 of them joined hands and formed a formation called the 6 Lightning God Formation. The formation was able to increase their strength to an unimaginable level. Therefore, they wanted to ambush Lin Wuti. They were confident that they could succeed. The 6 of them quickly turned into streaks of light in the air and charged towards Yu Wu. The battle ahead was extremely intense. Lei Zhen was also incomparably shocked. At the same time, his heart was filled with a strong killing intent. His opponent's cultivation was much higher than his, but his strength wasn't any weaker than his. This kind of person made him feel apprehensive. If he gave him a few hundred years to grow, it would be terrible. Therefore, he had to kill him. Suddenly, he frowned. He naturally felt that someone was secretly making a move. It was the 6 Lightning God Formation. Was it the people he brought here? These people wanted to frame him? To be honest, if it was under normal circumstances, Lei Zhen would definitely be angry. Why would he need to use such a despicable method when he was standing with others? However, at this time, he had a trace of selfishness. He didn't care. He even hoped that his subordinates could injure Lin Xian through the 6 Lightning God Formation. He was too eager to kill Yu Wu. Therefore, he didn't stop them. On the other side, Lin Xian sneered. How dare they ambush him? Did they really think that he wasn't prepared at all? When the 6 of them approached, he directly activated the formation. The terrifying flames of 100,000 volcanoes pierced through the void and directly enveloped the 6 of them. The 6 of them couldn't reach them. They were completely enveloped, and they screamed like pigs being slaughtered. Damn it, he had a formation. This kid actually defended himself in advance. They were extremely frightened. Damn it, come back quickly. The 9 people who were watching the battle from afar also exclaimed. They didn't expect Lin Wuti to have set up a formation in advance. Damn it, why didn't Wang Xiao and the others warn him? Suddenly, they remembered that Wang Xiao and the others had already been killed by the energy of the lightning god. How could they warn him? The 6 of them screamed miserably and rolled in the air. They ran quickly. At this moment, they couldn't care less about the assassination. They could only escape. However, the power of the flames was far beyond their imagination. Even if they were top experts, they couldn't withstand it. Senior brother, save us. The 6 of them began to cry for help. Because at this time, only Lei Zhen could save them. Lei Zhen's expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, a bunch of trash, a bunch of trash. Even a sneak attack couldn't succeed. How did he raise a bunch of useless subordinates? However, those people were all top geniuses and core disciples of the sacred city. Moreover, they were very obedient to him. Although he was angry, Lei Zhen still decided to save them. He stretched out a palm, which carried a terrifying aura of the path of lightning. It crossed the void and enveloped the 6 of them. He wanted to put out the flames on the 6 of them. However, at this moment, Lin Xian seized the opportunity and instantly threw out the 5-element ring. Buzz! The 5-element ring cut through the void and shuttled between heaven and earth. Suddenly, it arrived in front of Lei Zhen. Lei Zhen's pupils constricted. Not good. He felt a sense of danger. In a panic, he dodged. He cultivated lightning. In addition to its violent power, it also had extreme speed. Therefore, his speed was also very fast. However, the 5-element ring was too sudden. In addition, Lin Xian attacked with all his strength, so it still hit his shoulder. With a boom, his shoulder was directly smashed open, and his entire body flew backward. A rumble sounded between heaven and earth. 100,000 black holes bobbed together. Chapter 3869. How could it be? Senior brother Lei Zhen was injured. The 9 spectators almost fainted from fright. The 6 people who were burned by the fire were also dumbfounded. They had forgotten to resist. Impossible. Lin Wuди injured senior brother Lei Zhen? They couldn't believe it. Senior brother. They let out a final scream and were quickly burned to ashes. Lei Zhen's hair was disheveled, and his face was ferocious. His shoulder was completely blown apart, and one of his arms fell off. Blood dyed his armor red. He was still in a daze because he couldn't believe that Lin Fan could hurt him. What was that 5-elemental light just now? It was too terrifying. Lei Zhen came back to his senses and trembled with anger. With a roar, boundless lightning condensed, and the broken arm was restored. He quickly charged forward. Kid, you've completely angered me. I wanted to play with you before, but now the game is over. A big bow appeared in his hand, carrying the Tao of heaven and earth. Thunder Feather Bow. It was a real saint artifact. Lei Zhen also took out an arrow. He was going to use the Thunder Feather Arrow. His power was much more terrifying than the one Wang Xiao used before. Buzz. The arrow flew out, shattering the void and causing all kinds of strange phenomena to erupt. It seemed that he wanted to kill Lin Xian on the spot. Buzz. Lin Xian pulled out the unparalleled sword and slashed it. At the same time he sneered. It's useless. I've seen this ability before. It's not my match at all. You'd better show me something else. There was a hint of disdain in his eyes. Lei Zhen was furious. You're courting death. I'm not someone who can be compared to you. I'll show you the true power of the Thunder Feather Arrow. He stood in the void like a thunder god, continuously drawing his bow. Countless runes of the great Tao flickered around him. Buzz. An arrow flew out, and a sea of lightning descended, about to swallow the world. The second arrow flew out. This time, the merciless lightning intertwined and formed many demonic beasts that rushed over. At the same time, the third arrow came. This time, countless thunder mountains formed and fell from the sky. In an instant, 3 arrows were shot out. This might was enough to shatter the heavens and shatter the earth. Lin Xian also became serious. He had to admit that Lei Zhen was very strong. The power of that arrow surpassed all of Wang Xiao's previous attacks. What's more, 3 arrows were fired at the same time. Did they take it seriously? Good. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold light. He brandished matchless sword, and similarly unleashed 3 sword strikes. A sword came from the west, and a towering divine flame spread in the sky, as if countless golden crows were floating in the air. The second sword transformed into many giant dragons roaring, their voices shaking the 9 heavens. The third sword was like a wave. It kept surging. These were all waves of sword energy. They were incomparable and carried extremely powerful attacks. The 2 divine abilities collided in the air, exploding with extremely dazzling light. Not good, retreat quickly. The 9 Thunder God experts watching from afar quickly retreated. A monstrous power erupted. The destructive aura continued to linger for a long time before it finally dissipated. The 9 lightning gods flew over from the distance. That brat should be dead, right? That's for sure. How could he block the Thunder Feather Arrow? These people flew forward with a cold smile on their faces. Anyone who dared to go against them would definitely die. However, just as they flew forward, they heard a roar. Damn it, what's going on? The 9 people were stunned. They could tell that the voice belonged to Lei Zhen. What could have caused Lei Zhen to be so angry? Then they heard another voice. Your Thunder Feather Arrow isn't much. Although it's stronger than Wang Xiao's, that's it. You're dreaming if you want to kill me with it. That should be Lin Wudi's voice. How is that possible? The 9 of them spat. How is he still alive after such a violent attack? This Lin Wudi was already heaven-defying to this extent? Finally, when they got closer, they saw 2 figures in front of them. One was the handsome Lin Xian, who looked like a god of war, and the other was the flustered and exasperated Lei Zhen, who was covered in lightning. This guy is really fine. The 9 of them were stunned. Kill. Lei Zhen couldn't accept it. He continued to shoot. Thunder Feather Arrow flew out one after another. Its power was unparalleled. Lin Xian fought with him. Wherever the 2 of them passed, everything was destroyed. The more Lei Zhen fought, the more shocked he became. He realized that his Thunder Feather Arrow couldn't do anything to his opponent. Go to hell, brat. All of a sudden, the power in his body exploded, and a mysterious thunderbolt appeared. The arrow in his hand emitted a dazzling light. Buzz. The power of this arrow surpassed all the previous ones. The 9 of them were shocked. They were first sent flying by the power of the thunder. Then, they cried out in surprise. That's great. Senior brother Lei Jun used the 9 revolutions divine thunder. He used the secret technique. That kid is dead for sure. Lin Xian was shocked as well. He quickly dodged the attack, feeling shocked. Is it the 9 revolutions divine thunder? He had seen this secret technique before. Lei Qian had used it before and knew the 3rd revolution. Previously, Wang Xiao didn't have the chance to use it. He was directly defeated and suppressed. Now he saw Lei Jun use it again. The other party's attainments in secret techniques were also extremely terrifying. This arrow made him shudder with fear and trepidation. Lin Xian also had a secret technique. However, he didn't use it immediately. He wanted to test the limits of his physique. With a roar, Lin Xian held the unparalleled sword. His body emitted a golden light. The long sword in his hand was also dyed golden. It was as if it had turned into a golden sacred sword. With a roar, he split mountains and rivers. This sword didn't have any technique. It was the simplest move from the sky. It used violent power. The power of the sword and the power of the physique merged perfectly at this moment. Kill. Boom. Boom. The sword and arrow collided. This attack emitted a destructive aura. Heaven and earth were destroyed beyond recognition. He should be dead now. The 9 of them exclaimed. Lei Jun's mouth also curled into a smile. You can't even withstand a single blow. I only used the 1st revolution of the 9 revolutions divine thunder. You can't even block it? His eyes were filled with disdain. But soon his pupils constricted. He heard a cold voice in front of him. What thunder god secret technique? That's all there is to it. I didn't even use my secret technique for that attack. Lei Jun, I've said it before. You're no match for me. Hurry up and kneel on the ground, kowtow, and admit your mistake. That guy is still alive. The 9 sages who were watching the battle were dumbfounded. Now they were all kneeling on the ground in fear. Lei Jun couldn't believe it. His face was extremely gloomy. Kill. He attacked again. The arrows flew out, but the power was even more terrifying. They were the 1st revolution divine arrow, 2nd revolution divine arrow, and 3rd revolution divine arrow. Especially the last arrow, which contained the power of the 3rd revolution divine thunder. It was really unparalleled. The terrifying aura of thunder shook heaven and earth. Chapter 3870. The sky shattered, and the earth sank. Countless canyons were formed, and countless abysses appeared in the surroundings. Lin Xian still resisted simply. He used the purest strength to deflect the arrow. He blocked the 2nd arrow, but he was forced back by the 3rd arrow. His entire body was wrapped in thunder, as if it was about to be pierced through. Boom. The power of the divine body erupted again. Mysterious runes flowed on it like a sun. At the same time, the black Qilin appeared and roared at the sky. Lin Xian smashed through countless mountains and shattered countless voids. He came to a stop, and a trace of blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. 3rd revolution lightning. Lin Xian pondered in his heart. Although the 3 revolutions divine lightning had sent him flying, he had only suffered light injuries. He hadn't suffered any serious injuries. In other words, he could block it. He wanted to send the 3rd revolution lightning flying, but with the current strength of his physique, it would be difficult. If the opponent continued to use the 4th revolution lightning, he would not be able to block it. Perhaps his physique would be injured. In other words, the 3rd revolution lightning would be ineffective against him. Thinking of this, Lin Xian nodded. His physique was stronger than he had imagined, but there was still room for improvement. Kid, you are already injured. You can't even block the 3rd revolution lightning. I can use the 5th revolution lightning. What do you have to fight me? Lei Jun strode over like a demon. His hair danced wildly in the wind. The other 9 spectating thunder god sages were also ecstatic. Great, Lin Wudi was injured. Their senior brother Lei Jun was more skillful. This victory would belong to them in the end. It's too early for you to be happy. It's just a small injury. It won't affect me at all. Also, let me tell you, I didn't use Wushuang City's secret technique in the previous fight. Do you think you have the right to show a victorious smile in front of me? Lin Xian stood up and snorted. His body flickered with light. The injury had already healed. It can't be right? The 9 thunder gods who were watching the battle were all stunned. He didn't use Wuxia City's secret technique. This was impossible. They couldn't believe it. Lei Jun snorted. Kid, don't deceive yourself. If you didn't use Wuxia City's secret technique, how could you fight against me? What a joke. His eyes were cold. He couldn't believe it. In his opinion, Lin Xian was trying to shake his martial Dao will. But how was that possible? His Dao heart was extremely firm. Lin Xian shook his head. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. Previously, it was all his strength. Now he could use Wuxia City's secret technique. Brat, there's no need to resist. You're just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. You can't stop it. You used an unparalleled secret technique, but you were only able to block my 3rd revolution, causing me to use the 4th revolution Divine Thunder. Let's see how you. Lei Jun raised his hand again, and a thunder feather arrow appeared in his hand. The power of the thunder god revolved around it, emitting a dazzling light. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you really think that your thoughts are the truth? I'll show you how cruel the truth is. Lin Xian took a step forward. His strength exploded. He slashed down with his sword and activated Wuxia City's secret technique. Boom. On the other side, Lei Jun made his move. 4 divine lightning arrows shuttled between heaven and earth. Die. Boom. 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 The world was filled with light, and the 9 thunder god saints were sent flying again, coughing up blood. How terrifying. Lin Wudi could be proud even if he died. No matter how powerful he was still defeated by senior brother Lei Jun. These people sneered. They wanted to cheer, but their necks seemed to be grabbed by someone in an instant. They couldn't make a single sound. The sword tore open a crack in the sky filled with lightning. The pitch-black spatial crack continued to extend, splitting the world into 2 halves. Lei Jun was sent flying. A sword mark appeared on his body. It was as if he was going to be torn in half. How was that possible? My 4th reincarnation lightning was destroyed? Lei Jun couldn't believe it. His face was full of shock. The pain was unbearable. He roared. Endless lightning spun around his body and formed the 5th revolution Divine Lightning. Block it. A terrifying force rushed out from his body and blasted the terrifying sword chi away. Boom. Boom. He stopped and panted. Blood dripped from his body, but his wounds quickly healed. His handsome face was unusually pale as he raised his head abruptly. His long and narrow eyes stared straight ahead like lightning. Damn brat, I want you dead. 5th revolution Divine Lightning. With an aura that could destroy everything, it was as if it could kill any god or Buddha that stood in its way. There was nothing that could stop it. Buzz. On the other side, Lin Xian didn't say anything. There was only one word in his mind, and that was to kill. He held the unparalleled sword in his hand, and continued to use Wuxia City's secret techniques. Previously, he had activated the 3rd revolution Divine Lightning to block the opponent's 4th revolution Divine Lightning. Now he attacked again. Soon he activated the 5th revolution Divine Lightning. A sword light shook the sky and earth, shining in all directions. At this moment, everyone lost their splendor. Lei Jun's pupils violently shrank as his expression became incomparably ugly. This was because this sword strike made his hair stand on end. With a bung sound, he was blasted flying outwards. He coughed out large mouthfuls of blood, his body continuously breaking apart into pieces. Ah! A crazy roar sounded between heaven and earth. In the distance, the 9 spectators felt their scalps go numb. How could senior brother Lei Jun be injured? No, I don't believe it. They're all crazy. The 5th revolution Divine Lightning was so terrifying. Once a divine ability was used, no one could block it. But now he was seriously injured by Lin Wudi. Even his body was destroyed. How strong was Lin Wudi? Could it be that no one could subdue him? The 5th revolution Divine Lightning was only SOSO. Could he use the 6th revolution Divine Lightning? Lin Xian looked to the front like a god, looking down on everything with a condescending gaze. Ah! In the sky, the fragments of the corpse quickly healed and reformed Lei Jun's body. Lei Jun was extremely ugly. Was he defeated by his opponent? He couldn't believe it. He was crazy. He must use the 6th revolution Divine Lightning. However, his body, which had just healed, suddenly collapsed. No. The sixth revolution divine lightning was not that easy to condense. With his current physique, he couldn't withstand the power of the thunder at all. Perhaps he would be destroyed by this power before he could kill anyone. Senior brother Leijun, you can't. Yes, you can't use the secret technique rashly. The 9 spectators in the distance also exclaimed. Although Leijun was a thunder spirit, the secret technique of Leijun City was too terrifying. If he used it forcefully, he might be killed. Senior brother, he must have entered the bronze door and obtained the fortune inside. That's why he's so powerful. Yes, senior brother, push it away first and find another bronze door. After you enter, you'll definitely be able to defeat him. Someone exclaimed in the distance. Chapter 3871. Leijun also calmed down. Kid, just you wait. The humiliation you brought me this time. I'll return it 100 times, 1,000 times over. I'll tear you to pieces. After saying this, Thunder God turned and soared into the sky, wanting to leave. Who were those 9 people with? It seemed that they didn't plan to fight anymore. Because no one was Lin Woody's match. You want to leave just like that? Leave your heads behind. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The sword chi between heaven and earth surged over like a wave. You're courting death. Leijun was furious. The 5th revolution lightning rampaged between heaven and earth, turning into a sea of lightning to contend with the sword chi. The 9 people roared crazily. Damn kid, you've gone too far. Let's kill him together. Someone rushed out crazily. If you don't know what's good for you, then go to hell. Lin Xian activated another formation. Flames rushed over like 100,000 flaming mountains, erupting between heaven and earth. Damn it, he still has that kind of flame. There's a formation here. Let's run. The 9 saints were instantly burned by the flames, letting out miserable cries. In fact, even Leijun was enveloped by the flames. The flames made his eyelids twitch wildly. He could only use the 5th revolution lightning to defend himself. The blue tide rose. A terrifying eye technique appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. It swept toward the 9 great sage cultivators. The souls of the 9 great sage cultivators were hit. They could have resisted for a while, but now they were burned miserably by the flames. They didn't have the energy to resist at all. So in an instant they were seriously injured. The 9 of them held their heads and screamed in the air. Their bodies were on fire, emitting black smoke. Damn it, stop. We admit defeat. Please, Great Demon King, spare our lives. The 9 of them screamed crazily. Damn it, don't beg for mercy. Leijun roared angrily. It was too embarrassing. However, the 9 saints were scared out of their wits. We're willing to hand over all our Dao flowers. The Dao flowers on their bodies instantly flew out. He wanted to exchange for his life. However, Lin Xian didn't relent at all. If I want the Dao flower, do I need you to give it to me? I can get it myself. With a wave of his hand, he grabbed all of the Dao flowers in the sky. At the same time, his other hand transformed into tens of thousands of golden warriors, which burned together in the world. He was instantly sent flying. 5 of them had their bodies shattered, while the other 4 coughed out mouthfuls of blood as their bodies shattered. Run. The 4 of them seized the opportunity and quickly fled. They burned everything. Some of them even used 3rd Revolution Divine Thunder, while others used 4th Revolution Divine Thunder to escape for their lives. As for the other 5 people, they screamed. One of them decisively abandoned his physical body and rode on a lightning bead to break through the void. The other 4 also wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian smacked it down again with boundless divine fire. The great spear of destruction flew out and sliced the 4 people in half at the waist. The souls of the 4 people were also shattered. Then, Lin Xian turned his head and stared at Leijun. Want to leave? Leave your Dao flower behind. He charged out. The Dao haunt on Leijun's body was very plentiful, making him extremely jealous. Because the other party had actually condensed 500 Dao flowers on his body. He really didn't know how the other party had condensed them. Damn it, how dare you? Leijun roared crazily. The 500 Dao flowers were his foundation. He still wanted to enter the bronze door and exchange for treasures. How could he give them up? He attacked crazily. The 5th Revolution Divine Thunder formed a terrifying blade light in the sky, flashing in all directions. Lin Xian used the terrifying Nine-Yang Divine Fist to contend with it. The two collided continuously, as if two worlds were constantly clashing. At this point, both of them were truly enraged. Although Lei Jin had been defeated before, he was still powerful. At this moment, countless mysterious runes appeared on his body. Even his bloodline power was burning. On the other side, Lin Xian kept triggering unparalleled secret techniques. There were even dragon roars in his body. When the dragon-shaped sword qi appeared, it was even more powerful. It forced Lei Jin to retreat, several more cracks appearing on his body, and he couldn't erase the sword qi in a short time. Damn it, how was this possible? His opponent still had a trump card? Lei Jin was horrified. Had never seen this sword qi before. Just as he was in a daze, he roared, his heart bleeding. This was because the unparalleled sword had enveloped him with sword qi, cutting down all the Dao flowers around him. He felt as if a force had been forcibly extracted from his body. He wanted to redeem himself, but the sword cut off his arm. Damn brat, I'll fight you to the death. Lei Jin tore open the void and fled. In the sky, the 500 Dao flowers were directly grabbed by Lin Xian and absorbed into his body. He roared at the sky, sweeping in all directions like a peerless sword god. Previously, after defeating Wang Xiao and the others, had obtained nearly 400 Dao flowers, enough for 9 people at home. And Lei Jin's 500. At this moment, there were 1,600 Dao flowers on his body. As he walked, he brought about a strange phenomenon. With so many Dao flowers, Lin Xian finally felt the effect. His nomological laws were automatically cultivating. The laws they cultivated were not complete. They needed to continuously evolve and break through to get closer and closer to the heavenly Dao laws. At this moment, under the nourishment of these 1,600 Dao flowers, he didn't need to deliberately cultivate. His laws were improving. What a wondrous feeling! Lin Xian let out a look of astonishment as he sensed this astonishing change. He wondered what it would be like to condense 3,000 Dao flowers. 3,000 Dao flowers were enough to form a heavenly Dao golden lotus. He wondered how fast the heavenly Dao golden lotus would allow his nomological laws to cultivate. Even though Lin Xian was immersed in this miraculous cultivation, it was only for 5 days. 5 days later, he stood up and prepared to go to the bronze door. He was going to go in and exchange for some treasures. To be honest, he was a little reluctant. This feeling of cultivation was very wonderful. However, exchanging for treasures was more important. After all, he had seen the treasures inside the bronze door. There were really too many. If he didn't make a move now, he wouldn't have a chance in the future. It seemed that this was also a choice. Whether to cultivate laws or exchange for treasures, everyone's choice was different. Lin Xian streaked across the void and flew towards the bronze door. There were few people around, but there were still some people. Some people also found the bronze door. Some went in to exchange, some came out, wild with joy. There were also some people waiting for their companions. Suddenly, they all raised their heads. What was that? In the next moment they were dumbfounded, their eyeballs almost falling out. Chapter 38-72. Heavens, there were so many Dao flowers. There must be at least 1,000 of them. More than that. 1,600. Who was this? Was it Lei Jin who had condensed 1,600 Dao flowers? Or nine-headed Qilin? It could be the 7th prince of the Sunkros, or the chief disciple of the Grand Desolation Mansion. The crowd discussed fervently. It was too shocking. It was already shocking enough that they had 100 Dao flowers. It was enough to make their eyes red with envy. Most of them had dozens of flowers and were considered experts. However, compared to the other party's 1,600 flowers, they were like fireflies that could be ignored. Wait, none of them. That person seemed to be the Demon King. Someone cried out in alarm. The others could only hope to see him, but then they gasped. Run! The Demon King is here. They ran away like madmen. Hey, what's going on? Don't run. The people who came out of the bronze door were displeased. What the hell? Why did their companions run away? Didn't they say they would leave together? In the next moment, they were so frightened that they almost peed their pants. Damn it, wasn't that the Demon King? 1,600 Dao flowers. They were terrified beyond belief. At this moment, they finally understood why their companions had decided to flee. How many people had the Demon King killed to create so many Dao flowers? We don't have any more Dao flowers, Demon King. Don't attack us, Demon King. They looked like they were about to face a great enemy. Lin Xian glanced at them, then shook his head. He wasn't interested. They heaved a sigh of relief. That was a disregard for them. If anyone else had said that, they would have been furious. But the great Demon King's words made them delighted. They were so emotional that they were about to cry. Sometimes, being weak was also a kind of luck. Many thanks to the great Demon King for showing mercy. The few of them were deeply grateful. They bowed and hurriedly left. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked through the bronze door again. When he pushed open the bronze door and entered for the second time, Lin Xian was still shocked beyond belief. We meet again, young man. You're here already? The bronze emissary chuckled in front of him. Suddenly he paused, then revealed a look of surprise. 1,600 Dao flowers? You're really surprising. To be honest, during this period of time, he had also received many people who came to exchange. There were very few people who could exchange for 100 flowers, and those who could exchange for 200 flowers were even rarer. Lin Xian brought 350 flowers on his first trip, which was almost impossible. Now Lin Xian had returned with 1,600 flowers. Tell me your name, young man. Junior Lin Wudi. Lin Wudi, this is the title you gave yourself, right? You are indeed ambitious. Lin Wudi, you're the first to successfully condense 1,000 Dao flowers, so you've broken another record. You can enjoy special privileges. Did he break another record? Lin Xian was surprised. Of course, he knew that this record was different from a few hundred years ago. Instead, it was after they opened it this time. What a pleasant surprise. I wonder how much discount I can get this time? Is it still the same as the first time? Half off. If that was the case, he would be rich. He would be able to exchange for even more valuable items. The bronze emissary waved his hand, and the previous light screen appeared again. The treasures were arranged in order. At the same time, he said, since you've broken the record, you have an additional privilege. That is, in addition to the items you can exchange for, you can also exchange for things that are not on the list. You can make requests of me. I will satisfy your corresponding requests based on the number of Dao flowers you have. You can make additional requests. Lin Xian froze, revealing a trace of surprise. Then he became delighted. This meant that he had more choices. But soon he was surprised. The corresponding request meant that he couldn't ask for a sky-high price. He could only ask for the price of 1,600 Dao flowers. But that was still impressive. What is your choice? The bronze emissary asked. Lin Xian began to think. He looked at the light screen in front of him. With his current Dao flowers, he could exchange for more powerful combat arts than the 5 element rings, and also obtain more precious pills. Of course, he could also make his own requests. That would be more suitable for him. Now his ultimate techniques, cultivation, and sword techniques. Lin Xian thought for a moment, then said, I want to condense the Edict of Death. Can I? His physique had just improved. It was unrealistic to improve it again. The same went for the Edict of 5 Elements. In addition, the Dragon Sword Soul and the Unparalleled Secret Technique were also very powerful. However, there was one thing that also had unparalleled potential, but it couldn't keep up with Lin Xian's progress. That was the Taiji Incantation. He had discovered it in the mist of death, and it had infinite power. But now he couldn't absorb the power of death. And he couldn't take another step forward. If he could condense the Edict of Death, then the situation would be different. Therefore, Lin Xian was prepared to form new laws in addition to the Edict of 5 Elements. The bronze emissary waved his hand, and the light screen disappeared. Then he said in a low voice, I can send you to a place. Here, you can quickly cultivate the Edict of Death, but whether you can condense it and how powerful it can be depends on your luck. 1,600 Dao flowers will allow you to stay in that place for 3 months. After 3 months, you will be teleported out. Are you willing to go? Yes. Lin Xian nodded solemnly. Good. The bronze emissary stretched out a finger and pointed at Lin Xian's forehead. Endless Edict of Death spread out, including Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body disappeared in an instant. At the same time, the sound of thunder resounded in the sky above planet Tianming. Congratulations to Lin Wuti for being the first to condense 1,000 Dao flowers. Congratulations to the 9 heavens and the world. He thought of this voice 3 times. Between heaven and earth, countless rays of light scattered. At this moment, everyone on planet Tianming looked up at the sky. Their eyes widened. What was going on? Who was speaking there? Had Lin Wuti already condensed 1,000 Dao flowers? These people were going crazy. They looked at the dozens and hundreds of Dao flowers on their bodies, and their mouths began to twitch. They thought they were already amazing, but compared to Lin Wuti, they seemed so weak. There were also some people who believed that it was real gold, the bronze door, and that it was released by the existence behind the bronze door. This Lin Wuti was too amazing. He actually made the bronze gate announce it to the world. Damn it, I'm so angry. In a mountain range, a few people were sitting there dejectedly. They'd been discussing how to fight back, but when they heard the news, they coughed up blood. These people were naturally Lei Zhen and the others. They'd just fled for their lives when they heard Lin Wuti's news. Moreover, it was news that everyone was celebrating. To be able to do this, it was definitely the Bronze Gate's doing. Chapter 3873. These people's faces were about to turn green with anger. They knew that Lin Wuti only had a few hundred Dao flowers before. As for his breakthrough to 1,000, it was all because had stolen them from them. Damn it, kill him. I'll tear him to pieces. Lei Zhen gritted his teeth, his eyes blazing with killing intent. The princes of the Fiend City, the Golden Crow tribe, and the New Moon tribe all wore cold expressions when they heard this. We have to speed up. We can't let Lin Wuti continue to be so arrogant. They began a frenzied hunt. The Crimson Dragon, the North Demon, and the others were shocked. This kid was so fast. The Crimson Dragon was shocked. The North Demon smiled. Brother Lin was amazing. On the other side, a smile appeared on Murong Qingcheng's face. Great. It's Brother Xian. In a mysterious cave, Shen Jingqiu stood in front, staring at the cave in a daze. Suddenly, he heard a voice in the sky and looked up. It's Brother Lin Xian. Did Brother Lin Xian break a record? That's incredible. Qiu'er had to work hard too. Qiu'er had to follow in Lin Xian's footsteps. She seemed to have made a decision as she spoke. Resolutely, she walked into the mysterious cave abode in front of her. As for the cave, it rapidly healed itself. Then it actually disappeared before their eyes. In a swamp, more than a dozen demonic beasts were roaring nonstop. A figure stood in the middle of them. A very handsome man. They were all stained with blood, but it wasn't theirs. It was the enemy's. They'd hunted down many people in the past few days. These powerful monsters didn't have many Dao flowers on them, but the man in the middle had 1,200 of them. As he walked, multicolored light and laws fell. It was truly dazzling. Great, we didn't waste our efforts. His Highness is the first to form 1,200 Dao flowers. He'll definitely shock the world. One of the demonic beasts laughed. The other person also said. That was natural. He had the Qilin bloodline and the 9-headed heavenly snake bloodline. His natural talent was extraordinary. Who could compare to him? Even Lei Zhen and the Golden Crow Prince are no match for us. If we break the record this time, it will definitely shock the world. At that time, everyone will have to crawl under our feet. These people from the Demon City were very excited. As for the handsome young man in the middle of them, he had a smile on his face. Although he didn't say anything, there was an incomparably domineering and confident look on his face. He was the 9-headed Qilin, a peerless expert with 9 lives. At this moment, they were flying through the air in the direction of a bronze door. In Destiny World, there was more than one bronze door. They were scattered all over the world, and these people had to search for them. The people of the Demon City knew one of the locations of the bronze gates. At this moment, their speed was extremely fast. Soon, they arrived before the bronze gate. Your Highness, please go in. We will wait here. The greater demons of the Demon City replied respectfully. The 9-headed Qilin nodded and walked forward with supreme confidence. He was getting closer and closer to the bronze gate. He guessed that once he entered, he would be able to break the record and shock the world. he would be admired by the world. But when he was a meter away, a voice came from the sky. Congratulations to Lin Wudi for being the first to condense 1,000 flowers of the Tao. Congratulations to him for 9 days. The loud voice echoed through the sky. The nine-headed Qilin stopped in his tracks, the smile on his face frozen. Behind him, the peerless greater demons were also dumbfounded. How was this possible? The greater demons came back to their senses and roared wildly. They felt like they'd gone crazy. They couldn't believe it. There was actually someone who was 1 step ahead of them, and had already broken the record? Damn it, Lin Wudi. It was him. How did he do it? Was Peerless City helping him with all their might? Impossible. Only the younger generation of Peerless City had come this time. Those old guys didn't come in. Who was helping him? Could it be the Sky Fiends? The greater demons of the Demon City had all gone crazy. The nine-headed Qilin stood in front of them without a word. His face was terrifyingly dark, and his eyes flickered with shocking murderous intent. The void around him was collapsing. He was furious, incomparably furious. He was only 1 step away from entering the Bronze Gate and breaking the record. He would be the one who would be shocked and admired by the world then. However, he stopped abruptly when he was just 1 step away. Someone had beaten him to it. However, there was one person who was 1 step ahead of him and completed what he wanted to do. This was something he had never felt before. He was the nine-headed Qilin. His bloodline was so terrifying that he didn't even care about Lei Jun and the Golden Crow Prince. As for Lin Wudi, he didn't care about him at all. Although Lin Wudi had killed many of the Demon City's people, he still didn't care. In his opinion, he could kill Lin Wudi in 1 move. But now this ant in his eyes had actually spoiled his plans. In the next moment he turned his head and said coldly, "Find Lin Wudi. Oh, kill him with my own hands." "Your Highness, are you all right?" The greater demons felt their scalps go numb. Their Highness didn't get angry, or even say anything. However, they could hear the biting cold murderous intent in the voice. Perhaps His Highness was truly enraged. How dare he steal my fortune? Oh, let him know how the word death is written. The murderous intent in his eyes was unparalleled. The Demon City began to frantically search for Lin Xian's whereabouts. In another place, in the depths of planet Tianming, there was a group of people. These people were also outstanding and had powerful auras. Their faces were also unfamiliar. It could be said that they were incomparably mysterious. At that moment, they also heard the voice in the sky. One of them laughed. Lin Wudi. What an arrogant guy. How dare he have such a name? Are there any new rising geniuses recently? Another person frowned and asked. At that moment, a short-haired girl walked over with a disc array. There were many words and images on it. She said, Lin Wudi, the 3rd-generation chief disciple of Wushuang City, had only joined a few years ago. However, it caused a huge commotion. Then, all the information about Lin Wudi was revealed. After hearing this, these people were surprised. Yes, he's an incredible genius. However, he's too young. Oh, put him in the observation list. Interesting. I didn't expect to add another person to the list besides nine-headed Qilin, Lei Zhen and Jin Wu. So what? Although these people are geniuses, they're too young. If they fall behind, they'll fall behind forever. A tall man walked out with disdain in his eyes. Thank you for your monthly votes. Recommend. Reward. Please recommend, subscribe, bookmark, reward. Chapter 3874. If anyone else had heard this, they would have been stunned. Someone was actually disdainful of Lei Zhen, the 9 Qilins, and the Golden Crow Prince. Was he even human? It was probably a joke. However, no one would dare laugh at him after seeing his situation. This tall man had 1,700 Dao flowers on his body. The sky was so bright that it was hard to open one's eyes. None of his companions were weak. All of them had more than 1,500 flowers of the Dao. There were even a few who had more than 2,000 Dao flowers. As expected, another person snorted. Who do they think they are? We just didn't go to the Bronze Gate. Otherwise, these youngsters wouldn't have the right to be so arrogant. Enough, don't underestimate them. These geniuses aren't any weaker than us. If they're given the chance, they might soar to the heavens. This time, The Heavenly Fate planet was a perfect opportunity, so he couldn't afford to underestimate it. A man walked out from the front. He had a hazy aura about him, as if he would ascend to immortality at any moment. Beside him were 2,800 Dao flowers. It was too shocking. Someone had actually managed to condense so many Dao flowers on celestial fate. He was only 200 away from the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus. Just who were these people? Boss, could it be that you still think highly of them? Someone sneered. Our opponents should only be those on the Holy Pilgrim rankings. Those below the Holy Pilgrim rankings are nothing to be afraid of. They're the boss match, not yours. Another woman began to correct them. The man with the hazy aura stood with his hands behind his back. They couldn't be underestimated. Don't forget, Peerless City has Fu Hongya. Back then, he was also an earth-shattering figure on the Pilgrim rankings. Now there was another, and he was the chief disciple of Peerless City. This was Fu Hongya's junior brother. He might be able to make waves in the future. That's because Fu Hongya was born a few hundred years earlier than you. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to beat you on the Pilgrim rankings. Enough with the flattery. Let's get to work and condense the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus first. They began to move. There were several groups of people like them. They all had 2,800 Dao flowers on them. They were very close to forming the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus. It seemed that they wanted to condense the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus, and then enter the Bronze Gate to shock the world. These people were doing the same. A man in dark blue armor with a stern gaze said coldly, "A mere 1,000 lotuses of the Great Path were nothing to be afraid of. What they needed to do was to condense the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus. I will definitely surpass the others and be the first to condense it." They moved quickly and began to hunt. However, not long after, these people were all stunned. They were even dumbfounded. Even the man with the hazy aura heavenly Dao Golden Lotus. The mighty man in the dark blue armor was so angry that he roared, shattering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Another voice rang out in the sky, congratulating the old demon of the Black Mountain for condensing the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus. At this moment, the entire Heavenly Fate planet was stunned and in an uproar. Now they all knew some of the secrets. For example, 3,000 flowers of the Great Path could form a golden lotus of the Great Path. It was said that the cultivation effect of the heavenly Dao Golden Lotus was better. This was something that countless people yearned for even in their dreams. But now someone had done it so quickly? Everyone felt like they were going crazy. Especially the top geniuses on the Pilgrim ranking. They were dumbfounded. Who was it? They immediately thought of a few people who were as famous as them, but they found that it was not them. It was not their old enemy. The old demon of the Black Mountain. Who was this old demon of the Black Mountain? They roared crazily. They had never heard of that name. Their subordinates also frowned. To be honest, they were also scared out of their wits. Go and find out who this old demon of the Black Mountain is. For a moment, there was an undercurrent. It could be said that everyone was trying to find out who the old demon of Black Mountain was. Only 2 people were dumbfounded. Northern Yao and the Dark Red Dragon. The old demon of Black Mountain? Oh my god, it can't be that old demon of Black Mountain, right? The Dark Red Dragon sucked in a breath of cold air. Northern Yao's eyes also flickered. Was it really Master? Thinking about it, it should be only him. To be able to condense a golden lotus of the Great Path in such a short time. Probably no one other than Black Mountain who had been to planet Tianming could do it. Even those peerless geniuses would not be able to accomplish such a feat. These 2 pieces of news swept in all directions like a hurricane. One was Lin Wudi, and the other was the old demon of Black Mountain. It could be said that they were well known. The old demon of Black Mountain was especially praised by people, because they had never heard of such a person before. But now the other party suddenly appeared and achieved such a dazzling result. It seemed that a storm was brewing. They did not expect that there would be such a big dark horse apart from Lin Wudi. No, they had to get rid of these people. They could not leave such a disaster alive. Orders were given one after another. Lin Xian, the person involved, no longer knew anything. He used his privilege to make a request, and was teleported away. When he reappeared, he found that his surroundings were gloomy as if he had arrived at the 18th level of hell. Where was this? What was this place? Lin Xian frowned. The cold wind around him gave him goosebumps. Buzz. He activated the 9-yang divine body, illuminating the world. However, the places that could not be illuminated still had a strange aura. He was shocked. These bronze messengers were too powerful. Their methods were unpredictable, and they could instantly bring him to such a place. Was this still planet Tianming? Or had he already left planet Tianming? He did not know, but he knew that the other party did not lie to him. Why was the surroundings so gloomy? The death aura was too dense. It was very suitable for him to cultivate. He only had 3 months. He had to make good use of it and condense the laws of death. Thinking of this, he flew deeper. He wanted to find the place with the densest death aura to start cultivating. After flying for a while, Lin Xian stopped. He could not go any further. The death aura here already made his hair stand on end. He would not be able to take it if he went any further. He sat down cross-legged and began to circulate the Taiji art to absorb the death aura around him. He had to admit that this place was too mysterious. It was simply a place born for death. The death aura spread out continuously. The Taiji art in his body circulated quickly. Fortunately, his physique was strong. After eating the 20,000-year-old flame lotus, he was frantically refining some of the medicinal energy that he had not refined, providing his body with strong vitality. It was to balance the Taiji art. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.